Hello everyone, we're live again with the third day of Bloodborne Unpatched. Hope everyone's doing well. Blue Mew, Katie, welcome back in. Mega Blair 007, thank you. Bobson, Dugna, I don't know if you're in the stream or if you really did have to dip, but thank you for the message, and I appreciate the origin of that username. For those who may not know, like Bobson Dugnut was a kind of a Japanese take on a generic American sounding name for like a regular Nintendo baseball game. I don't remember which one it was off the top of my head, but that name is kind of iconic to me and some of my friends. So yesterday we finished off going through a bit of the Forbidden Woods. We showed off the old clinic skip by jumping on top of the coffin and checking out a bit of the Forbidden Woods. And we went through like the very first section of it just to show off like the dead skeleton is actually dead the first time. Not that it really would have changed too much. And then we went through the rest of the Cathedral ward, well, except for like the part going up to the lecture hall and whatnot. And we went to Hemwick Charnel Lane and killed the witches. So today we will continue from that point on. We're going to go back to the first floor sick room just to see what the fake doctor will say. Because we sent the old man to her as well as Adela. So she should give us 2 sets of items, although if I remember correctly, for whatever reason, the imposter Iosefka doesn't give both genders items at once. So if you send her all the women, she'll give you like all of the women's items out in one go. But if you mix it with men, she only gives you like half of them at a time. So we'll need to like reload the area. So first, I think she'll probably give us Adela's stuff, and then the second time it'll be the narrow-minded man. Arctic Tesoro, welcome in. The Shepherd Book, welcome. Stella B, nice to see you again. Oh man, the old loading screens. AKB, it's actually a lot faster than I remembered because of the PS5, but yeah, definitely no loading screen items to peruse while we wait.
Oh, hello. You're all right. Very good.
LP doing 10,000 IQ speedrun strats and you missed it? I mean, it wasn't really too much of a speedrun, just kind of showing off some of the old glitches. Oh yeah, we also showed off that Jira's dialogue gets cut off because the PS5 is too fast, so that was kind of funny.
Oh, hello. You're all right. Very good. He's safe with me now. I presume you're to thank. The treatment is going well. Stabilized, for the most part. Fascinating, really. Here you are, as promised.
So that's the numbing mist. So I guess that's from the guy. And Adela.
Oh, thank goodness you came. Be a dear. Find me some more.
I feel like she didn't give me numbing mist before, but maybe I'm just misremembering.
There may yet be humans out there. If you find them, send them to Iosefka's clinic. I endeavor to treat every survivor there is. So please, be a saint.
Stella asks, is there a reason for the Iosefka object thing, or is it a weird bug? What do you mean by the object thing? The one that she's giving to us, or something else? So I'm going to head into the back of the clinic because we've unlocked it. And I'm going to show off the little girl, the old man, and Adela. And then I'll reload the area just to talk to Iosefka again because I do want to double check if she actually gives us items. Like another set. I feel like we should have gotten it all, so maybe things changed as the patches continued. I don't know. Is there a reason for the Iosefka? Okay, numbing mist is made with human parts? Potentially. Oops. I meant to do that. Uh-oh. Okay, we do a lot more damage with the fire to these dudes. Oh, and we do have one of the Uden runes on, which is why we have more Quicksilver bullet maximums right now. Some crows up here. Oh, it's a lot brighter in this version of the game, I think. Well, maybe it's because we're also still in the evening phase of the night. So I might just be, like, misremembering. Wow, those drop beast blood pellets? That's kind of useful. I thought you couldn't really farm them so efficiently until like late game. That's crazy. Okay. Yeah. Definitely bright. You think Adele is the only alien who doesn't attack you if you're in front of her? A lot of them don't. Like, you kind of need to draw their aggro. So we just got some insight for stepping in there. That's what that like little mist and the whispers were. The true Iosefka's over there. Actually, we might go to Cainhurst next, if for no other reason than to just quickly pick up the Executioner's gloves. So I don't know which emissary is where, at least until we kill them. Just, I don't know. I'm just not that familiar with the game. But so they kind of do lose their tracking, and they're not as aggressive as some of the other ones, like in the Forbidden Woods. So I think that just kind of goes to show how sedated they are. One cool thing about them is they do have like the additional like appendages coming out of their sides. So some people think that they could be related to amygdalae, but one thing that's worth noting is on their left hands they actually have 7 fingers, whereas amygdala only have 6, and their right hands only have 6 fingers as well. Only. So it's just kind of one of those weird things where I think they're probably related to a certain degree, but the celestial emissaries are most likely different than amygdala. Oh, so that was the little girl, Gascoigne's daughter, because we got the Formless Odin rune from her. You think Adele's the only alien? Okay, I read that one. Stella said, you said something about if you send all the women, you get the set at once, but if not, of mixed men and women. Maybe you misunderstood what I said. No, that's what it was, at least in the most up-to-date patch, because when I was trying to get like a lot of footage of sending the different characters to Iosefka and just looking at that stuff, she would give me all of the women's items at once, and then I would need to reload to get the stuff that she would give me for the men. So the old narrow-minded man and the suspicious beggar I would send here, and then we would get the items. So maybe it was just different in 1.0. Odin Wraith, so that would be Adela. And you could get Odin Wraith from her even if you sent her to the chapel and killed her. And so this should be the narrow-minded man, and I think he gives the cocktails. So he's just like kind of a snap to lucidity because we blocked his path and he's attacking. Yep, pungent blood cocktail. So the dude's drunk is kind of what that implies, I think, but not really. So we should get another communion rune from here. And interestingly enough, like the communion rune is pretty well associated with like the kin and the like celestial emissaries and the choir, I think, just because the first communion rune we get in the Healing Church workshop, which isn't that big a deal. The second one we get here with the imposter Iosefka, and the third one is dropped by the celestial emissary boss. And then this is also the rune that's on like the research hall nameplates, floor plates, and you can even see this kind of motif in the Hunter Chief emblem and the gate outside of Cathedral War, which you use the emblem on. So communion is obviously like related to blood healing, and the term that they use for it is kind of like the Eucharist in Japanese. May RNGesus be with you. Thank you. I had godly RNG. One with the hands clutched together is Adela. Alright. So, blood ministration is, of course, the pursuit of communion. So even in English, that kind of language is really consistent with the Japanese. So communion being like really big in Catholicism. So that wasn't really like me commenting on the translation. It's just kind of interesting that it works out between the languages like that. What's my favorite enemy? That's a good question. I think And it's probably the Winter Lanterns, if that's what comes to mind. Because they are like the scariest, like the most badass. You always have to be on your toes against them. And because of that, I also hate them. It's a love-hate kind of thing. How about you? What's chat's favorite enemies? And I'm assuming you meant like a regular enemy. If it was bosses, I'd probably go with Ludwig. Just because I really like how the fight was designed. So this is the room we first woke up in. This item wasn't here before. We woke up on this table though, so maybe it was there and we lacked the insight to see it. This is the true Dr. Iosefka, and part of the reason we can say that is not only is there nobody else here if we don't send any of the NPCs here, but when we kill this blueberry, we gain the chance to pick up Iosefka's blood vial. Since we already have one, we can't pick it up. It's a little bit unfortunate that you can't even like send it to storage or anything like that. So inspecting this table, you can get the summons to Cainhurst, which is pretty cool. You guys like the old hunters? But for boss, your favorites, Maria? You like the ghosts? Which ghosts? Like the evil labyrinth spirits, the bound women of Cainhurst, or the pilgrims? You like the boomhammer hunters? Yeah, those guys are pretty cool. I do like the well, what's the like the strength threaded cane. I like those guys. Those guys are cool. Can't think what it's called. The beast cutter. Yeah, that's what it is. So we get the chance to see the imposter doctor early because we sequence broke a little bit.
Ah, moonlit scents. How did you worm your way in here? Very unfortunate. I had such high hopes for you. Well, I won't make any excuses. Would you mind leaving us alone? Things need not change. You'll do the rescuing, and I'll do the saving. But if you refuse to leave... Oh well. I've always wanted to try my hand on a hunter.
To answer your question, Katie, yes, it is the same term there. You have it right. Ignatius, you said Rabbit Slayer fans from the Chalice dungeon. Which ones are those? And also welcome to the stream. Stella likes the bound women. Okay, yeah, I think those women are cool. So I'm a little bit curious since we sequence broke this early whether or not we have the standing Iosefka or fake Iosefka, or if she will attack us. Oh, she's not even in here.
This won't hurt.
Oh, snakes. I lied.
I'll soon have you right as rain.
So she uses the Rose Marinus and the threaded cane. So we're just going to run away because I want to get her umbilical cord later. And if we kill her now, we would get another Odin Rythrune. I think she drops the highest level of it. I might be misremembering it. Maybe it's the second tier. So that's it for now. I think if we leave out and come back into this room, she'll talk to us. But more than that, I want to talk to Gilbert again since Patches shouldn't be here anymore. The crazy... Oh, okay, I know what you're talking about. The Labyrinth Madmen. Okay, yeah. The dudes that can swing the corpses. Yeah, those guys are pretty cool. They look like a Sadako from The Ring. Why is she so evil, though? You thought she wanted to help people transcend humanity? I think, like, maybe the most straightforward way to describe characters like the fake Dr. Iosefka would be, like, in order to... Or, like, you have to crack some eggs in order to make an omelet. So, the whole meme about the greater good probably applies to her. But I really do like those kind of ethical and philosophical questions that a video game like Bloodborne can raise. It's like, I thought Iosefka wanted to be good. Oh, I forgot to talk to Gilbert. Either way, we'll get him. The Labyrinth Madman one-shot you every time in the... Fetid, rotted chalices? Cursed chalices? Yeah. The first one you saw gave you a heart attack. Yeah, the way they shriek and just speed is really crazy. I wonder if we just aggroed her permanently then. I didn't intend on sending more NPCs to her, so either way. She'll still go crazy later on, I'm sure. If you sequence break... Oh, maybe it's different on 1.0. Not that I think what we did changed things too much, but I wonder if she was still... It's probably well documented at this point because the skip was really popular. I wonder if the dummy Iosefka was still in the back room at the very, very beginning of the game. The church giants and the servants are your favorite enemy? Yeah, honestly, like, a lot of the enemies are really cool. It's really cool that there's so many different answers, though.
Don't you worry about me.
He says that. I'm just going to show off some of the NPCs here. And then we'll go fight Amelia. I know I said I wasn't planning on doing it at first, but we'll go to Amelia and then talk to some of the NPCs that'll like change their states in the world.
You that outsider? Well, sorry, but I don't want anything to do with you. Trot along, will ya?
So, for the most part, these townsfolk are lucid. And I'm using that term a bit loosely.
He'd open their door on a night of a hunt. Away with you.
So, yeah. And that'll change once we kill Amelia, just because we've already taken care of the witches. I think after that point, they'll start screaming. Or maybe it'll have to be after we, like, encounter and kill Parl. Once you kill a certain amount of the side bosses, like, the state of the world changes, which to me shows that time continues to progress and people go mad over the course of the night, regardless of what the hunter does. So, do we want to go to Amelia next now? Maybe. This is a game plan for tonight. Welcome back in, Kerm. So yeah, go fight Amelia, talk to the NPCs a little bit more, and then go back to the Chalice dungeons to show some of those off and probably get wrecked a little bit. Can probably level up.
I was very well.
I guess I could show off the dull stuff. Let's level up Vitality.
Farewell, good hunt.
Stella says, scientists had like no ethics on the time period Bloodborne takes its design inspiration from, so it scans she wouldn't care about them. Yeah. Joshua, morning, welcome back. You said you got a 4-day weekend and you turn 28 tomorrow. Let's go, sweet. Happy early birthday. Thank you for dropping in. Hope you enjoy your birthday. And Cathedral Ward. I guess we haven't talked to Arianna. Okay. So she should be at the church now as well. So let's also talk to the chapel dweller, since he'll probably say something new with her available. You're right, it kind of sucks that some great one granted fake Iosefka an umbilical cord when all she did was torture people. Going to Cainhurst anytime soon? You didn't see if I got the summons or not. So yeah, I'm thinking maybe... Yeah, I do want to get the Executioner gloves before going into the Chalices, since we're doing arcane stuff. So yeah, that's probably the better idea. So we'll do Amelia, then like we'll just speedrun Cainhurst to get the gloves, and then... Yeah, okay. Sounds like a plan.
There ain't a peep to be heard, not in the old town. I doubt there's any more out there. God save us. Yharnam's done for.
Copy to Pasty, welcome back, thank you.
There ain't no more survivors. There can't be. Yharnam's done for.
So his dialogue is a little hint that the suspicious beggar isn't a real survivor, so don't bother trying to save him.
There ain't no more survivors. Yharnam.
Alright, so we missed him talking about Arianna just because, like, we didn't save everybody. And so once you, like, rescue everybody, his dialogue changes to stuff like that. So this is where we'll get some more gender dialogue about her asking if we hate whore's blood. But the male version of this in Japanese is like, do you hate women who sell their blood? Which we talked about quite a bit yesterday.
Oh, hello, dear.
I waved.
This is a safe place. Thank you. I am in your debt. I'd like to tender my thanks, but I can't imagine what to offer. All I can give is my blood. But would you even take a whore's blood? Oh, good. Come close, dear. Don't worry, I've done this before.
Blood of Arianna.
Oh, hello. Sorry, dear, you're much too eager. I've only so much blood, okay?
I'll be honest, my first time playing through the game, I was kind of scared of Arianna. Thought this is like, she was gonna trick me somehow with the blood. Thought she was like a vampire, like a seductress or something, and I don't know. That's obvious not how it really works out. I guess it's not obvious, but alright. Blood of Arianna, it has some really cool lore. Devil Ike, welcome back in. Beggar's the best boy. Katie says it reminds you of that time doctors refused to wash their hands when handling childbirth just because they didn't want to. Yeah, the germ theory of disease is a real kicker. There's some special stuff that goes along with using 5 of her blood vials. I don't remember if I talked about Iosefka's blood vial. I know in the last stream I actually showed it off because the way that the stream ended, I had enough time offline to go ahead and like use 5 of them and not waste the actual time on the stream. But with using 5 of each of these blood vials will cause their respective NPCs to have a special line of dialogue. And we'll show off Arianna's this run because it's really cool and really, really easily missable because how often are people really going to use this blood? So, as for the lore, this is blood taken from Arianna, Cathedral Ward Woman of Pleasure. The sweet blood of Arianna restores HP and temporarily speeds stamina recovery. A member of the old healing church would know that her blood is similar indeed to precisely what was once forbidden. So, I think it might be the umbilical cord which talks about it a bit more, but her blood is impure, and I talk a lot about that in the videos, and if you guys are more interested in that. So, one of the cooler things about her blood vial is when you use it, you'll get like this chiming effect that surrounds the character, briefly. And since her blood is more impure, I think it's more associated with the arcane, and because of that, that's kind of why like the chiming is a thing. And it makes me wonder if the choir first became interested in sound through the use of like high quality blood. That's kind of more headcanon. I think it pans out, honestly, but I can't really fault anybody if they don't want to believe it themselves. Kerm says, Arianna is a descendant from the Vile Blood, so yes, it was special, yes. Blank Think says, when you first played the game, you thought the cleric beast was meant to be fought later in the game, and that was the Great Bridge to Cathedral Ward was supposed to open. Yeah, that's understandable, especially if you miss Gilbert. I don't think I talked to Gilbert my first playthrough, so I missed all of that stuff entirely. Kerm, you are remembering correctly. Arianna is indeed a Vile Blood, and when we go to Cainhurst, we'll be able to show off a cool item which kind of makes the ties maybe a little more explicit in this version of the game. Mega Blair says, Udin also blessed Delo with rune, like a consolation prize, lol. So, yeah, I don't really think Udin discriminates what he tries to come into contact with. Just as long as you've taken the blood, he'll try to do his thing. And the writhing can lead to like eyes on the inside or maybe like immaculate conceptions, but we'll talk more about that later as well.
You. Stay away from me. I know all your tricks. You.
Right, so she's not too crazy quite yet. So let's go on, visit Vicar Amelia. I'm probably just going to turn this HUD off right away anyway. The stairs haven't loaded yet. There they go. They really did like... Oh yeah, we have more than 15 insight now. So as I'd mentioned on the previous stream, before 15 insight, those dudes don't have like the blue fire on their scythes. I thought I'd be able to do another attack before. And then the dudes with the lanterns have eyes on them now, and then they're able to do like the spells. Okay, 2 hits, that's not too bad. Why do I keep doing that now? Oh, probably because of Demon Souls. I'm trying to like two-hand my weapon almost. Bruh. Can you stop it? Alright, and then I'll just run past all the other ones. Oh wait, no, these ones will glow. I need this footage. So as I said before on yesterday's stream, I think that these crucifixes are kind of like analogous to the Hunter's Rune, the Hunter's Mark, but just not flipped upside down. And it makes me wonder if these are symbolical representations of actual Carol runes, and that's what gives them their kind of special power. So it's kind of funny that like this holy symbol literally gives you like divine inspiration if you get frenzied by it, is one way I think we can interpret events here. El DeGusto, welcome back to the stream. Gross Lantern. Ignatius says, you always felt that insight should have had an effect like soft humanity had in the DS1 boosting the arcane or something. Yeah, I know what you mean. It might make things a little bit broken though. I wish they did more with it overall. Grim says, the Great Ones choose the ones with stronger blood to carry their kin because they have stronger life/blood and can birth a Great One. But how are they actually chosen is still a mystery. Joseph Sokolowski, welcome back. Mega Blair says, how does it even work? They channel arcane powers through the eyes like the Black Sky Eye? I think so. But how it really, like the actual mechanics, just nightmare logic, magic. Joseph says, you always looked at the increasing insight as revealing the unseen, but it's curious that it grants the enemies new powers. Yeah, and one of the coolest posts that I saw, like in relation to like video game lore, was how there's one version of Silent Hill where... Oops. I hope I don't frenzy death. There's like a boss that you can fight, but it doesn't... I don't remember which Silent Hill game it was because I'm not too familiar with them overall, but it was just a super cool post that there's like this rumor of a boss or something in the subway, I think it was, and it's a completely optional boss, and the crazy thing about it is if your character never hears about the boss, it'll never appear. So what it really means is that boss is kind of a construction of the character's mind from hearing that rumor. And I think that's kind of how insight works as well. Yeah, I should probably talk about the doors and whatnot. So coming into the Grand Cathedral, we've got these like what I would say are umbilical-esque looking representations on the doors. I think they're kind of meant to have like eyes and whatnot. We'll see statues of this in the choir, or the orphanage area. And it's kind of hard to see them on the door, but I find it interesting that they're in it as well. And to the sides, we have two amygdalae, like, holding a torch. So it's interesting that we have, like, representations of Great Ones on the cathedral itself. And since we know the School of Mensis is kind of crazy about them, it makes me believe they probably had some kind of a say in the construction of the cathedral. Or at the very least, it shows they were probably known fairly early to the church, if they're on the Grand Cathedral itself. So I feel like the Yharnamites must have had some conception of Great Ones, just to some degree. How much they knew is another matter entirely.
Partake in communion. Let us partake in communion.
Lone Pareto, welcome to the stream.
And feast upon the old blood. Our thirst for blood satiates us, soothes our fears. Seek the old blood. But beware, the frailty of men. Their wills are weak, minds young. The foul beasts will dangle nectar and lure the meek into the depths. Remain wary of the frailty of men. Their wills are weak, minds young. Were it not for fear, death would go unlamented.
Alright, so with Amelia's dialogue there, I think that kind of shows the idea of fear being an important part of the healing church. So that kind of comes up multiple times as far as the game goes. Eileen first mentions fear is what separates man from the beasts. Amelia mentions it in her dialogue, and we'll even see like the adage with like fear the old blood come up in a bit. So before going through all of that though, I feel like the fear stuff is kind of a red herring, because we do have the description of the Molotov cocktail saying, oh, beasts are afraid of flames. So it's like, wait, if fear is what separates beasts from man, then why are beasts afraid? So there's obviously a kind of a disconnect with the knowledge of the characters in the world. Alright, so going back to the chat, Loam said, maybe the church drained the blood of the women of Cainhurst. That's why they're the neck sliced instead of being grinded to get that high quality blood. So what I personally believe about the bound women of Cainhurst, and we'll probably talk about it a little bit more, is they probably killed themselves so they wouldn't be taken prisoner and other things. That was kind of a practice called jigai in ancient Japan, where the women would do that so they wouldn't be captured as prisoners or used for for sexual purposes. So it was kind of an honorable way to go out, as opposed to the alternatives, I suppose. Eldegusta says, you wonder if anyone can use that giant stick rune, or if it's something like crosses against vampires and it channels some sort of faith. Yeah, those are all really good questions. It makes me wonder as well. Katie likes the rally mechanic. I do too. With enough insight to interact more with the astral world, because of that, the astral can affect you. It's like an extra layer of reality most people don't know exists. I don't think that's a bad comparison. Kerm says, you wish there was an area that had the Cainhurst women hanging upside down to confirm that. God-fearing is a very classic Christian virtue. Yes. And welcome back to the stream, David Mitchell. Having fear of the right things. Elda thinks that Great Ones are inspirations behind the gods worshipped by man. Yharnam seems to only know them by the face of their mythology. The church learned older names of the gods in archaeology. I think that's a fair assessment of things, and I kind of agree with it. They held their own head sometimes, right? Yes. We'll show that off when we go to Cainhurst after this. Do you think the church prison is canon to the waking world, or it only exists in the Hunter's Nightmare? That's a very, very good question. I honestly don't know. I feel like it could go either way, and I don't have super strong feelings on it. I think there's just not enough information for me personally. Arctic says, you've noticed FromSoft has a thing for mass murders in Sekiro. It's the children that were experimented on. In Dark Souls, it's the new Londo flooding. In Bloodborne, it's the Cainhurst nobles. Kinda. I see where you're going with that. Alright, so back to this note. Heir to the ritual of blood, purveyor of administration. Place your hand on the altar's sacred covering and inscribe Master Lawrence's adage upon your flesh. So this is one of the reasons why I would say Master Lawrence should be understood as the holy medium that Alfred talks about, where it's enshrined in the Grand Cathedral, because he is the kind of source of the healing church's blood. Alfred's Japanese dialogue is a little bit clearer, where it's like the body that it originated from is enshrined in the Grand Cathedral. So this idea of heirdom is kind of shows what I would call a so-called lineage in the ministration of Yharnam and the Healing Church. And that kind of stuff will come up more in the heir rune. Perhaps the heir is a hunter who bears the echoing will of those before him. And it also comes up, I think, is it the Burial Blade? Or it's the old hunter badge. I just don't remember the exact text off the top of my head. Charlie Brown, thank you for the 1999. A hunter must hunt. And also welcome to the stream. Hopefully you'll kick a football one day. Lone Beretta says, you'll wonder how the church made more magic blood if they found it in the labyrinth. It has to have been a finite quantity. Yes, so that kind of comes up in the concept of the purveyor of ministration. And when we talk to Adeline and Adela and look at their things, it talks about grooming women of blood or blood saints. I don't remember if they use the term grooming in English, but it seems very few women can actually possess the blood within them and be able to distribute it to others. So my current headcanon about that would be, even though these women are alive, they're able to house the dying wills of blood, whereas I would say maybe the regular Yharnamite can't do it. Or at the very least, they probably just have a higher tolerance for the blood than other people. So they just get more diluted, not diluted, what's the word? Impure? Corrupted by it? And that corruption and impurity makes their blood more potent, which is what we get with the Arianna's blood vial, which we already used. Alright, so I will initiate the fight since we've been talking in the chat a little bit, and have the bonk welcome in, and I'll try to read as we fight. Hopefully with Amelia, it shouldn't be too difficult. I'll go ahead and turn the HUD back on. I think we should be good. Okay. You think when they say Garen's the first hunter, he might just be the first hunter of the cycle of the rising and falling? After all, they seem to have discovered the right to summon the moon presence. Do you think blood gem inside the pendant is golden because it's made of Lawrence's blood and he bleeds lava in the nightmare? That's an interesting thought. I don't really know how I feel about it. I was wondering about that earlier today, as a matter of fact. Why is it gold? Since it's the only one like that. So, yeah, I don't really know. Havel says, insight allows the consent on reality to change. Basically, when you believe everyone believes reality is static or arcana, then that's what it is, and you gain insight, you push outward. As you and your enemies now believe the same thing, the reality around you changes. I see where you're going with that. Katie says, the part about the insights being how you perceive the world that you talked about is similar to concepts in Demon Souls and correlation of tendency and stuff. And also the faith thing. Faith has always been a huge thing in the Soulsborne catalog. It has the power to change the world. So insight in a certain way is very similar to faith. Oh yeah. We're gonna get grabbed. Oh, I should have turned it off. That was a little bit janky, but it's cool. I realized I didn't... Oh, wow, we would have visceraled her twice. I realized that I didn't equip my numbing mists. Oh, it looks like we're just bullying her right now, as far as the damage goes. So let's try the flame spray. Holy crap. That's funny. I could have gone for the no-hit run, but it was just... I wanted to burn her down. So we get the gold pendant. Arcane run's looking pretty fun so far, man. Definitely a different experience for me. Speedrun strats. Oh, I thought you just had. It would have been very ironic that the Blood Saints were actually the children of Cainhurst, since the church likes so much kidnapping children. And that's another thing. Like, there might be a shared lineage for the Blood Saints because Adela's blonde, Arianna's blonde, Iosefka is blonde, even though I don't necessarily think we get her personal blood. So, yeah. Stop, she's already dead, kicking a vicar when she's down. She started it. Thanks for the GG. Barbecue. Elda says, do you think those fat Mr. High Giant dudes with the bricks are gaining ape-like qualities as they transform, or do you think they're just getting more muscular? I feel like, I never really thought about apes, but that's an interesting idea. There could just be more like animal-style transformations that I might initially think, between like Ludwig turning into a horse and whatnot. Alright, so that was the Vicar Amelia fights. I covered this piece on one of my videos about the art of Bloodborne. It's one of my favorite pieces in the entire game. This might have been inspired by the the Chair of St. Peter, and I don't remember what church it comes from, at least for this actual like figure of the chair right here, which is a little bit hard to make out, but it's a little bit more obvious in the Hunter's Nightmare when you can climb all over it and stuff. This figure of a headless woman with an urn is likely supposed to symbolize the blood and its source of divinity, because in the opening cinematic of the game, like the interim it's what plays before you actually start the game, like you can actually see some what might be blood pouring out of the urn towards where Lawrence's skull would have been. In earlier versions of the game, you had like Lawrence's human skull actually on the chair itself, like the little seat portion, and so like the blood would have like been going onto the skull directly, which so it would have been even stronger of a message, whatever the word is that I can't think of. Wow. So yeah, let's just say that the blood comes from the divine above man beyond death, which I believe should be represented by this chair, because in earlier versions of the game, like the chairs represented the dreams and death and all that kind of stuff. And part of that is we can see like this coffin below the chair has messengers on it, which are kind of like the symbolic spirits of the dead. And that's presumably like the actual body of Lawrence within that coffin. And it might also represent like the tabernacle, also known as like the Ark of the Covenant in Christianity, where like the laws of God were bestowed upon man, but they're just kind of covered up. So like the law of the church is associated with death, which extends beyond them into like the blood and the divine. And I do like how the skull is literally beneath all that, and it's that of a beast. So to me, I think like the skull represents like the beastly idiocy of man as you try to climb up and transcend man and beast. So that's my little spiel about that. It was too late. The vicar bit the ceiling. Barbecue vicar with a side of old one fries. Healing Church hasn't existed long enough for eugenics. They might have discovered lost Cainhurst scions and tried to concentrate their blood. I think they were around long enough for eugenics, and I feel like the orphanage was the first attempt at that, and that gave birth to the choir. I don't necessarily know if the choir were like ministers of blood by any means, but I feel like they probably were experimented on, and you see eugenics kind of at play, arguably, with like the Bastards of Lauren and the Red Jellies, which we'll probably definitely won't get to this stream, but they'll come up more in the future as well. You think OT's in the Vatican? I'm not sure what OT's are. Chair St. Peter is in... Oh, okay. You think it's in the Vatican. I see. Statue looks like the moon presence. Tree branches behind her are tendrils. Oh yeah, and I always forget to mention the tree. I'm not sure what it's supposed to represent. Part of me thinks it might be like symbolic of the great tree in the Hunter's Dream. It could be representative of like the Yggdrasil, the tree of life essentially. And Mega Blair might have a good idea with it, like with this being here, this woman, it could be representative of the moon presence. She does have wings. I think I tend to forget that. So at the very least, she is like more angelic and whatnot. And I guess that hair... or the shawl or something might be something equatable to that as well. Derek, welcome back to the stream. A bit late to this discussion, but on the topic of fear and its relation to men and beasts, it may be relevant that Ram seems to show fear towards the hunter. It's kind of hard to know what Ram feels, but I know what you mean. Like, she tries to back off. She's really passive, at least for the first portion of her fight. Oh, it's a typo? Yeah, I figured it out after a second. You think Ram was a baby in the larval state of being a great one, so she hadn't divested herself of mortal trappings yet? Was Logarius a contemporary of Ludwig and Lawrence, or after them? I personally believe Logarius probably came later. I feel like with their motto, that should have come from Ludwig's style of fighting, where they just empty themselves of their thoughts and fears and whatnot, and strive to do good. But that's kind of more my personal take on things, so people are welcome to their own opinions on that. Katie says the tabernacle is also where the body of Christ is? Okay. I didn't know that, but that's interesting. Alright, let's continue real quick. And David Mitchell makes a good point with like a
I've come to bid you farewell.
trees being similar to veins and stuff.
Oh, I know. You think now to betray me.
No, but you will never listen. I tell you, I will not forget our adage.
We are born of the blood, made men by the blood, undone by the blood. Our eyes are yet to open.
Fear the old blood. I must take my leave.
By the gods, fear it, Lawrence.
Ghost Dog, welcome to the stream. We do cover quite a few of the other games. I wouldn't say like all of them just yet, but I have done a bit of Dark Souls, and I'll do some more Dark Souls in the future. Bloodborne is my specialty, so I can go into depth about Bloodborne for literal hours, as evidenced by these streams. So yes, we do cover quite a few of the games. Sekiro, very slightly as well, and not so much a Demon Souls, but maybe more of that in the future. Deathrock says you agree Logarius is after Ludwig and Lawrence. Alright, so before I forget, with that little cutscene there was a difference in the dialogue for this cutscene, and I guess I should have pulled it up before stream, but actually I was in Devin Guy's stream on Twitch earlier today, and he pointed out that for the story trailer that's still on YouTube, if you'd like type in Bloodborne story trailer, it shows an alternate version of Willem's dialogue in English. I didn't know the English had it for a while. I knew that the Japanese dialogue changed months after the game was already released. So he says something along the lines of, we are born by the blood, we are made men by the blood, go or transcend men, and then are undone by the blood. Something along those lines. Let me pull that up, actually. I don't remember what the actual official English for that is. So the earlier version was, we become man through blood, transcend man, and lose our humanity. So yeah. I found it really interesting because I didn't really remember if there was an English equivalent for that. So I like that the earlier version of that dialogue a bit more, because I feel like it leads more into the path of great ones and stuff like that. So just kind of interesting and worth mentioning. And even on the Japanese launch trailer for Bloodborne, the Japanese subtitles use the older version of that dialogue. So, some pretty interesting discrepancies. After interacting with that skull, we have now progressed into the night age, or wait, not night. What am I saying? We've progressed to the night stage of the game. And I guess I also wanted to mention, before I interacted with that cutscene, but totally forgot. So Lawrence's skull also bears a lot of resemblance to the Madman's knowledge. Like it's glowing with the white crap on the inside. It looks like it's literally been split open. I don't necessarily think like Madman's knowledges are literally skulls that have been split open with arcane knowledge or eldritch wisdom. I feel like this is probably just like a UI representation, but that's not really too important. But I do like the little similarity between the two with his split open skull and whatnot. And we'll talk about Lawrence's skull more when we get into the chalices, because I'm sure that question's probably come up. Alright, so let me look back at the chats. And we'll probably go to Cainhurst next, since we already got the thing. Havel says, who do you philosophically believe was right? Should we fear the blood? That's a really good question. I really feel it comes down to personal belief. I believe there's reason to fear the blood and transcending man, because throughout these games, a lot of the people who try to move beyond man ironically end up like losing their humanity and more or less just become monsters. So I do feel like there is a lot of justification to fear that. Oh, I should have leveled up. A lot of justification to actually like fear the blood and whatnot. Oh, this says, were you alone in thinking Willie was cool as hell? I think I don't know if I would say he's cool as hell. I think his character is really interesting. I wish there was a little bit more that we got from him. Kerm says, all the founders were just trying to help humanity, and then there's Mikalash.
Welcome. What? Very well. Farewell, good.
Use some more cold blood.
Welcome. What? Very well. Let me.
Blood makes us human, makes us more than human, makes us human no more. Thank you very much, Blank Thing. Yes, that is the quote verbatim. How old is Annalise? It's really hard to say. I mean, since she's immortal, or at least doesn't really die, maybe she's lived for a really long time. Some of the other questions which come to mind is like, how old is Willem? Like, how's this dude still kicking? If the healing church is as ancient as it seems to be in some places. I think he has mushrooms for brains by now, but when sages grow closer to enlightenment, they have less will to directly interact with the world, so he just lives in his head. Yeah, that's another good reading of things. Very Buddhist in some ways. Do you think his skull is split from a weapon? Oh, I missed it. Oh, I'm really behind, huh? Alright, I'm probably going to miss out on a few comments, so I apologize. Elda says, JSF was an advocate of the idea Willem wasn't completely against using the blood. He just felt it was foolish to use the blood and to develop proper insight. Maybe. In some of the earlier dialogue lines of the game, he said, like, if you want the blessing of the eye or something along those lines, like, don't use the blood. So I can understand where JSF is coming with that. But I feel like the way that I look at Willem, at least in the final version of the game, he would prefer insight over blood or the eyes over the blood. Despite, like, them kind of having a relation. Tetsuo, welcome back to the stream. Nice to see you again. Why do man-men's skulls have gigantic, fatal-looking cracks? Brain too big? I think that's one way we could look at things. The gold Ardeo blocks off the eyes. Most in the story aren't ready for the blood, so they're overwhelmed by it and collapse to beasts. The blood can be used by people who are ready, whatever that means. That's a possibility as well. So I don't think not everybody will ever be ready for the blood, which is kind of an interesting thought too. Chris Kaufman, welcome in. You said you'd say fear the blood. If you tally all the dead and the wronged people along the way to create one great one, who will probably be killed in 100 years restarting the curse, you'd say fear it. And that's another really important component. Like, in order to even become a great one, there's so many that have to get sacrificed along the way if like the School of Mensis is any indication. Alright, so this is an old blood-stained summons inviting an honored guest to the Forsaken Castle Cainhurst. Rather bafflingly, it is addressed to you. Do not hesitate. The stagecoach leaves from Hemwick Crossing. So that's kind of our indication to come back to Hemwick to go to Cainhurst. And now we're at an appropriate point in the game where we could visit it. Sort of. The It Burns line still entertains me. I have my flame sprayer out. Okay. Wouldn't believe the blood wasn't required. They needed to open their eyes to gain insight. That's how they literally started growing eyes inside their head, inside their skulls. Inside their skulls. Sorry, I'm trying to read quickly. Could have been an initiative from Lawrence's faction while he was still a disciple of Willem. You think I might be phantasms that dwelt in the madman breaking when their host died? That's another thought. One idea that I've had, and take this with a heavy grain of salt, is with oops. That was a bad time to heal. It'd be really helpful if I could do two things at once. So far I'm just getting my ass kicked and watching it. Alright, so what was I just saying? Oh yeah. The madmen's skulls. So one idea that I've had, and take it with a heavy grain of salt, is if the whole nightmare exists through layers and blood is like close to one of the bottom layers and like Quicksilver is part of the layers and all that kind of stuff. Maybe like the phantasms can slip between the cracks of reality. And so maybe the phantasms were originally native or endemic creatures to the nightmares. And it's only from the bloods intermingling with the lines of reality that they can actually seep into the real world. Whether that be through like cold blood and cold blood flowers and all that kind of thing, or some other device. So if insight might be related to that, maybe with people gaining enlightenment, it helps the phantasms able to like slip through the world, because let's just say that enlightenment is linked to like being able to perceive the nightmare, so it kind of opens like a little bit of a bridge or a gateway, and then like the phantasms might be able to like squeeze through those gaps, if that kind of makes any sense. But again, that is just a little bit of, I wouldn't even really say headcanon, it's just kind of some idle thinking about what they could potentially be if they really do sprout out of heads and things like that. Like Eternal, welcome in. How to use the empty phantasm shell. So you need to use a weapon that doesn't have like an elemental affinity on it, and then you just have to have the arcane necessary to buff it. Sorry, that's a little bit of a simplistic explanation, but it scales with the arcane stats and all that. And also, welcome to the stream. Not a Kraut, welcome in. Nice, a live stream that helps you understand the lore and where to go after the witches. So after the witches, you want to go to Amelia for sure. Cainhurst is kind of jumping ahead a bit in terms of the actual like scale and difficulty. I'm only going to come here right now to just get the Executioner's Gloves, because it's an arcane tool that'll help me out. And then I'm going to explore the chalices. They slaughtered the village because they wanted to cost his corpse. Life Eternal says you have the empty phantasm, but it has no purpose, it's not working. It's more of an arcane tool, so you might need to have the necessary arcane stat to use it as well. Howell says, if you did manage to become a Great One, do you think you would end the nightmare, repeat it, or do you think Great Ones couldn't do anything to the Hamlet's curse? I feel like if you kill the Orphan of Kos, that curse should be dispelled, because you kind of dispelled Mother Kos's ire, but as for whether or not the cycle will repeat itself, that's a really good question, and I feel like that's more just individual interpretation on how they want to perceive their hunter character. They did drill into the skulls though, so they were looking for eyes also. Yes, that'll... I guess I can't show it on this stream, but yeah, that's another good thing. Kerm asks, is Cainhurst in a dream or a nightmare or the real world? That's a really good question. I feel like there can be arguments made for both, to be honest. The way that I personally view Cainhurst would be that it's in the waking world. And with me saying that, I know we can come here and the moon is white. But the moon also stays white in the Forbidden Woods and Bergenworth. So later on, I feel like the red moon just shows the literal proximity of the moon presence. And so I feel like when we're in Cainhurst, we're probably far enough away from Rom where she can't influence how reality looks, I guess. But honestly, like, the whole phases of the moon is just... it could have been handled better by FromSoft. I don't think we'll ever have, like, a really nice and succinct way to explain everything related to it. So we get some spooky vampire magic opening the gates. I would just attribute that kind of thing to messengers and all that stuff. I guess I should talk a little bit more about our travel here. Oh, that carriage just popped out and popped back in. So the carriage which brought us here is covered with ice, and the horses are dead. So that could be a really good justification that this is part of a nightmare. But whether it is or it isn't, I feel like it's still real enough to the hunter, because we can still get defeated here. But at the very least, we can still see Yharnam in the distance. And with that being said, like, a lot of people believe that Yharnam itself is part of a nightmare, which is fine. I personally don't like that, but I don't really think there's anything to discount it either. So for me personally, I feel like this should be understood as a representation of the waking world, but it's really personal preference, I think. I just had the thought now that Cainhurst is wheelchair accessible, at least this portion of the map. It's probably for carriages and whatnot, really. It might be relevant that we can't see the snow surrounding Cainhurst from Hemwick. Yeah. Loam says, those sea slugs with long antennae are called sea hares in Spanish. You ever thought of the Japanese myth about rabbits, bunnies, and hares being from the moon? I'm probably just tinfoiling. Yeah, I don't really know how well that would translate, but that's an interesting idea. You think the slaughter of Cainhurst brought it closer to the nightmare? Like the emotions made it haunted back time by freezing it from a dream blizzard? Right. I need to pay attention before I get killed by some of the brain blood lickers. So I think there's a blood gem over here and a bunch of the maggots. So this might be a study in pain. Tempering blood. Oh god. And as long as I don't die down there and just get stuck with my echoes. Right, I'll try to kill one of these, because I think in 1.0 their corpses don't disappear, surprisingly. But I definitely don't want to fight two. These are the most annoying regular enemy in the game to me. Maybe even more so than the Winter Lanterns. Because you can't really visceral them, and they always hit like a truck. You can't just stand behind them and cheese them. Oh god. I was trying to dodge. Oh god. Chill, please. How is it still alive? Holy shnikes. Did I light the lantern? Yes. The carriage horses already being dead might be a similar phenomenon to the guy asking for the password being already dead. Yeah, and that's another good point as well. Oh, the flame sprayer, yeah. Time for a PhD in agony. Definitely not used to the arcane playstyle. Where's my stuff? Oh, there it is. Life Eternal, you're welcome. Thank you for the question. Does the moon change appearance while in Cainhurst? Like it changes with the other phases? No, I think even if you sequence break it, it'll still stay night. But, damn it. Snuck up on me. We're back to where we were. Rip. Like I always say, I could beat any enemy in a FromSoft game as long as there's one of them. Don't fight them. Yeah, I was going to skip them. I just want to show off one, because the version of the game we're playing on is different. So I heard that their corpses stay around, and I just kind of wanted to see that. So let me do this. Okay, that's the one that got me. They don't stay stun locked enough. And part of the reason, damn it, we got it stuck in the wall. So yeah, its corpse does stay, so that's cool. So, what was I saying? Part of the reason why these dudes are, or these girls are so strong right now is because we are coming here pretty damn early. Bro. Oh, the goat kick. Okay, that's cool. Damn it. This one clipped through the ground too. At the very least, there's going to be the big one. That's worth looking at. Do they disappear in the current patch? Yes. And also welcome to the stream, Dan Stern. Time for the run past. I think there's 3 of them over here. Yeah. So one of the cool things about the blood liquors, though, is that they do have different sizes. That one's obviously big. And these ones are kind of emaciated. I would say like these ones are small for their little pus or blood-filled bellies. And the other 2 were like medium-sized ones. And the big one can't even attack us because it's so filled with blood. And these things might be analogous to Preta in Buddhism, and maybe even Hinduism. I don't really know the delineations of how like some of the demons and whatnot work in Eastern religions. Preta are like the spirits of ghosts that are forced to pretty much drink blood and excrement because they're hungry ghost spirits, and part of their punishment for being hungry and greedy is having mouths that are too small to actually eat food. So they're forced to lick or like slurp up blood and excrement. So that's probably the inspiration for these kind of things. Afro Man, welcome in. Min level for Cainhurst is 55. Where is that listed? Why does the moon change when you kill Ram? So that's a really good question. I'd almost prefer to talk about it near Ram, just because it takes a little bit of explanation. She's been not holding back, but concealing the Mensis ritual. Oh, fire doesn't do much damage. But it does AoE. Maybe because it's far away. Oh no, 3rd one. Get me out of here. Bro. That sucks. Okay, I'm not going to worry about these. We can come back later when we come for Logarius. Chris Kaufman says, you like that recreation of Dracula, which is JSF interpretation? So that would mean you were picked up by a ghost carriage and the real carriage was long dead broke. Yeah, that's kind of how I always felt about it. Like, this area was fairly obviously inspired by Bram Stoker's Dracula. Where's my... Okay. I don't... Oh, it just sucked my blood. That probably explains why it jumped. That's cool to show off, though. I wasn't intending to. Oh, man. Rip the blood. So much damage. I'm scared. Please don't clip to the ground. Please don't kill me so I can show it off. Oh, no stamina. Wow, me saying that just took me back to the Dark Souls days. No stamina. Playing HUDless. Okay, this is actually... Okay, sweet. Whew. You were level 75 when you killed Mario Logarius. He was pretty hard, but if you know how to parry, it's super easy. Yeah. He's a fun fight. It's a good fight. So normally these things would just disappear, so this is a pretty rare sight at this point in the game's life cycle. Can't really see its face too well, but it's still kind of cool. And you can't ragdoll these guys. So I wonder if they just had issues with its animations, and that's probably why they just made them disappear after the fact. Yeah, no idea they drink your blood echoes off the ground. That's such a cool detail. Yeah, in the Chalice dungeons, if you visceral an enemy, these things will show up randomly and like drink the blood. So you think you've like killed every enemy in an area, and then these things can just pop up out of nowhere and scare the hell out of you. Some more spooky magic here. Vampire magic. So as we come in, we get some more statues. This dude is taken from Charlemagne. I talked about that in one of my videos. Was she taken from the Virgin of Paris? I don't remember where she was. Catherine? No. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I did make a video about it. So the Virgin of Paris is over there. And those are like taken from real life statues. Now we can run. Yeah. So let's go pick up the Reiter Palace. I think it's in this chest. The crying women will be aggro once we start looting the castle or getting too close to things. So as we look at them, we can see that their necks have been slit. They've got these kind of daggers. Their hands are literally bound together. They've got like kind of ornate silvery type weapons, ornate dresses and shoes and all that. So these are most likely like noble women. And one of the coolest things about Cainhurst is they don't have beasts as you typically think of them. They have ghosts. So that just kind of shows the power of the blood to bring things closer to transcending death, I think. And when you hit them, they don't bleed blood. They just kind of bleed this black mist, which I call nightmare mist. I don't do damage here. I don't know if they're resistant. Oh, I don't know if they're resistant to fire, or if my damage is just that low. Probably just that low. Derek says, you were reading a blog post the other night about the differences in boss names between Japanese and English. Some interesting stuff there. Yeah, so that's another thing. I do have, if you guys aren't familiar, my spreadsheet should be linked into my channel and video descriptions. So if you want to look at like some of the enemy names, boss names, that's also included on one of the tabs in there. Oh god. That's not what I intended. Trying to show off its face. Probably just need to kill it. So these are servants of Cainhurst. Probably threw them in the wall. They have kind of more purplish blood, I think, although it's kind of hard to say that. It's that versus, but purplish blood versus the lighting. Come on. I'm really bad at pairing these things because I normally don't bother. So that's like the super close up of the black mist that I was talking about. But with the Cain servants having like the more purplish blood, I think that just kind of also looks more similar to Arianna's. Go to lecture hall, equip moon runes, yeah. Especially in this version of the game, because I think they're just a lot easier to kill. So pretty much the other treasure in here is not important right now. In the next room we get the dining hall, which will turn black. And we got some quicksilver bullets, which are just bait. There's a chest over there, I think there's a blood gem. We get some really cool portraits here. I'm not going to talk about them right now, because we'll come back to Cainhurst later. Chill out, bro. Okay, alluring dress. Okay, so sweet. I definitely wanted to pick this up. I'll talk about that once I move into a little safer location. I'm just gonna start sprinting through. We're gonna get the elevator and then all that stuff. You forgot it was my video, but the elevator and a few other spots have a woman holding... Oh, damn it. Parasite. Gotta mash. Monster mash. So despite this thing's appearance as a gargoyle, it's not technically a beast enemy, if I remember correctly. That's what I get for trying to read chat for 1 second. I feel so bad. You always saw the bat gargoyle as Cainhurst's beasts? Yeah, they're kind of like the closest equivalents, but even still, they're not like the traditional werewolf-style beast. And that dude has like the Rider Palash kind of weapon. And I know I haven't looked at its description either. So we need to get the Executioner set over there because it's really, really good. But before that... Sweet. Vile Blood Register. And then we'll go for the gloves after that. We got 2 gargoyles. They'll ambush us. It does appear Yharnam in its areas isolated from the rest of the water, but not necessarily floating or anything. You read lately that some Balkan vampires or shadows are missed before they could transcend into human form? That made me wonder if they're just low-level vampires. Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. I mean, it's been a really, really long time since I looked at, like, vampire mythology like that, but yeah, that totally rings a lot of bells. So the cool thing about this area is when you get hit by what I would say, like, is their version of the Quicksilver bullet, their blow darts or whatever, you get the Kegare rune, corruption rune in English, branded on your character for a while. And so these ghosts, which have like blindfolds on their faces, can suddenly see you. They'll become way, way, way more aggressive. They scream and they chase you. Do they start bleeding more? I don't think so, but I just wonder. So these ones still have their heads. The ones downstairs won't have their heads on their bodies. So I'm just going to leave those for now. Do a little skip here. So our gloves, I think, are in that chest. No, it's over here, isn't it? And the night set's in the other one. Sweet. Okay. I'll probably just bold Hunter's Mark? No. Oh, I want to kill the knowledge upstairs for the chunks. What gun do we have right now? We've got the pistol and the flame sprayer. I could pick up the Evelyn. I always forget to pick up the Evelyn. Oh yeah, I wanted to show some of these off. So, as I was saying earlier, like, these ladies don't have blood. When the Headless Ones scream, a bunch of blood spurts out of their neck, and if it lands on you, that's when you get, like, the arcane grab. They can't really do anything about it, though, so they need their other friends to help them. And we got a blow dart dude on the left. So if he hits us, they'll all start chasing us. So I just got grabbed. So one of the things that I noticed in one of my last playthroughs of 1.00 is if you get killed by some of these bound women, they'll have like 2 sets of glowing eyes, one above like their heads, and then another set down by their abdomens. And it confused me for a while. And then Bad Lad, he's another lore theorist. He's in a bunch of like Bloodborne servers. He's like, oh, it's probably just the heads from like the 2 versions of them. And I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. All right, so I apologize for missing out on a lot of chat the past 10-15 stream. You can pick a kin cold blood up from over there. I'll worry about that later, if at all. You thought they start spraying blood from their cutthroats? Okay, we just showed that off. Those mist and shadow vampire legends you believe are the evil spirits before they possess the corpse of a dead man and become a vampire? You guys are talking about arcane scaling. Put the night set on. I'll probably switch up the fashion souls in a minute. And then we'll do some Chalice diving. Not like the most thrilling. I mean, the one at a time is okay. It gets super repetitive. Arcane's cool like that. You think these ghosts had their... Oh, I forgot to go get the chunks. Whatever. Real deal. And I think there's something... Frenzied Cold Blood. Oh, that's not too bad. Alright, we'll come back to Cainhurst eventually, TM. You think these ghosts had their servants kill them rather than them killing themselves? Like they put on the blindfold and had their servant behead them. That's also a good possibility. It is kind of curious that the servants stick around. Maybe we'll get mad lucky with this. Let me start the recording. I doubt we'll get it, but who knows? Nope. Better to be safe than sorry, though.
Welcome. What? Very well.
I guess I could give her the thing now.
Farewell.
Alright, so one of the cool things about the doll is she actually has a special animation for crying when you give her the hair ornament. So let's show that off. Derek says, you like to imagine Cainhurst as it might have been before the executioners came, whether it had the same dead atmosphere about it. Also, don't stress too much about the chat. It's all good. Thank you. Appreciate that. Chris says, it can't just be the curse of cost that makes beasts, though, right? Unless all the beasts in the chalices come from a different curse. So the way that I look at it would be beasthood is inherent within man, which is exacerbated by the blood. And I look at the curse of cost as causing blood drunkenness, which causes people to become beasts more frequently. But that is my headcanon, and there's not a lot of concrete information about that.
Welcome. What?
Alright, here we go.
What? What is this? I can't remember. Not a thing, only I feel a yearning, something I never felt before. What's happening to me? Tell me, Hunter, could this be joy?
Tearstone.
Welcome home, good Hunter. What is it you desire?
I think she'll say something different after Amelia, I don't remember.
Hunters have told me
Yes.
about the church, about the gods and their love. But do the gods love their creations? I am a doll created by you humans. Would you ever think to love me? Of course. I do love you. Isn't that how you've made me? Farewell, good Hunter. May you find your worth in the waking world.
So there's really a lot to unpackage with that. That's some really heavy-hitting questions with what the doll was saying there. I don't really know if I want to get into that too deeply. The way that I typically look at what the doll says is more along the lines of it probably shows like her lack of knowledge of what really occurs in the outside world. She herself seems to be taken in by healing church propaganda. I don't really know if this actually boosts my attack with the fire conversion, but may as well. Alright, so we'll start opening the Chalice dungeons. And I think Elda makes a pretty good point with that parallel there. Use a ritual altar to create a Chalice dungeon with a Chalice ritual, or to search for Chalice dungeons created by hunters in other worlds. So in order to use the chalices, we need the chalice itself as well as its ritual materials, and ritual blood is used for all of them, so I feel like the blood is obviously a big deal for everything. The ritual is finished and the chalice rests upon the altar. You may now explore the dungeon. Oof, here we go. Captini Laseri, welcome back in. Chat, don't answer, it's a trick question. Mega Blair says, doll tier is made of? It is a trick question. The way that I look at it is, since we channel our blood echoes into the doll, I feel like it would probably be like concentrated blood echo material. But I'm sure other people have different feelings about that. So I pretty much just intend to like speedrun a lot of the chalices, and I use that term very liberally, speedrun. I will need to go through like the side areas to pick up some of the treasures, I'm sure, just to get the proper ritual materials to proceed. And there are like a few goodies in there as well. So, yeah. Oh yeah. Wow, I suck. I said I was going to speedrun and then I immediately just screw around killing a rat. Okay. Consume the chalice. Your only reason to get servants killing them is that they were bound? Maybe. I mean, that could also explain why the servants would have killed them. But they are still building their own daggers and whatnot, which leads me to believe they probably did it themselves. So as we come into the chalices, we do occasionally get like these oil puddles, which can cause the Molotovs to do a lot more damage. These things are the Tumerians, so they're like an ancient race of people who are now like referred to as like superhumans. I don't remember if this chalice says it specifically. I'll need to look at it after. Oops. After I deal with these guys. Okay, let's double check the chalice description. A ritual chalice found in the Church of the Good Chalice. Used in a ritual at the tomb altar in the Hunter's Dream to break the seal of an old underground labyrinth. Let the chalice reveal the tomb of the gods, let blood be the hunter's nourishment, and let you partake in communion. I've mentioned this in my videos that I feel like it's ritual blood that it's talking about. It's saying that the blood is coming from the chalices themselves, not necessarily the dungeons. But I mean, essentially the blood does come from the dungeons because that's where it was discovered. So it's essentially saying like drink ritual blood, and that's what the hunter's nourishment should be. Ow. Ooh, it almost poisoned me. So we got Chime Maidens in the next room with the red dudes. They're like summoned spirits from her. They're called Tumerian Madwomen. Only go to the side room in the final lair? So when you kill the Tumerian Madwomen, the Chime Maidens, all of the... Huh. They leave corpses? All of the spirits despawn as well. That's cool. You have an idea for a sequel where the doll's in pieces, still alive, and part of the Great One our hunter becomes? Now, the crowd asks if I'll be able to show off the unused bosses. Not on this version of the game, unfortunately. But there are like a ton of those videos on YouTube as well. Not to just like offload that on somebody else. So we need to operate these levers to unlock the door to the next like CO levels. Got poisoned. Probably should have just killed him. And these things are called Watchers, but it took me until like seeing it in Japanese to understand that they meant more like Watchmen by their names. Oh, it drops Ritual Blood too. That'll be useful later. You do love all the environmental details in the Chalice dungeons. You've found the veiny roots around the walls can trick the eye to resembling human-like figures. Don't know if it's intentional. It especially doesn't help when they hide a few of their figures like in the coffins and stuff to make people more paranoid about like what's along the walls. I think there's like a snatcher down there or something like that. So one of the cool things about coming into the Chalice dungeons, and one of the aggravating ones, is we can see the hunter's mark on like their tombstones here. They show up like pretty much everywhere. They're on the doors that will open as well. Mega Blair says, does that mean the hunter eats materials like the red jelly and pearl slug? No, I don't necessarily think so. They might just make it into a smoothie. Elda says, beheading was viewed as a merciful execution method, like how when you go all hardy-cardy. If you're in a good standing, you get to second to behead, so you don't suffer more. Yeah. So this should be the boss. Was there a side layer? Not on the first one. Okay. This one doesn't have the hunter's mark on it. So this is the undead giants. Internally, they're called like corpse golem, I think, for these ones, which is kind of cool. So different versions of these. I think maybe it's the church ones. They're called like Church Franken, like Frankenstein monsters. So there's supposed to be an amalgamation of corpses, essentially. Oh, it's kind of funny. I'm not used to the tracking on this thing. So they got like these pustules on their sides, which can break open to deal a lot of damage. He's gonna chill. Oh, he broke his limb. Phase 2 music. We get some gemstones. Before fighting the third layer, I'll probably need to switch out my gems because we're gonna get wrecked if we face the... Oh yeah! What am I doing? Went out of my way to get it and didn't even bother to equip it. I'm an arcane pro, guys. Do you think of the Golden Age of Tomb Raider they had more agency? Maybe. I think I missed part of your comment, though. Sophie seems to think most Tomb Raiders are like the mindless drones with only the rulers having agency, but you're wondering why we only see that... You're wondering we only see that because their civilization has already fallen. Yeah, I don't know. They might have just... They obviously have like a very structured hierarchy of things, so that could explain things. I don't necessarily know if they don't have like agency. But that's a good question, I think. I thought there was something in one of these ones. Okay, maybe not. It's just regular tombstone. I'll show off some more of the tombstones down here. So one of the other cool things about these Chalice dungeons is we do get reused statues that we see throughout Yharnam, and even some of them in Cainhurst, which I didn't show off, but I'll have to do that when we go back. And one of them being the... The lever statue that appears in the Hunter's Dream behind the memory altar. Is it only the one? I think so. I hope so. Is that a naked boy? It is. I didn't realize they spawned so early. Oh crap. We got the Dark Souls Fat Roller. Oh no, he's chasing me. Oh yeah, let's try this. Holy crap. So a lot of people view those corpses, or like these Temerians, as a developer joke about, oh, that's gross as crap. About like the status of some of the Dark Souls players who wouldn't wear equipment and just like wield the heaviest weapons and just spam everything. The boss fights in the Chalice dungeons are mediocre, just reused bosses. It reminds you of Dark Souls 2. Yeah, I mean, they do have some really cool, unique bosses. They're just kind of few and far between. They're just too repetitive overall. But I think it was a cool idea. The implementation could have used work, and I do respect them for not like forcing it into the main game or like repeating it in games like Sekiro. Okay, I thought there was one over there. Some fire paper. Arcane's epic. Phobos, welcome back to the stream. You like how the dungeons are set up, where from a certain point of view they wanted to have an army to keep the queen in there. Yeah. I've got some pretty interesting thoughts about that in general. I'll probably wait to share that once we do the stuff with Queen Yharnam, though. Oh yeah, there are traps in the dungeon as well. So if you step on certain parts of the floor at times... Oh, thought I killed it. These things will appear. Alright, so I think in this version of the game, once you like unlock the lever, their lanterns change, but they switch the colors in the final one. So these were the statues that appear by the memory altar. So it kind of originates in the chalices. There is like a decent amount of environmental lore in the game. It's just kind of hard to appreciate it because it's just so repetitive. Elda says, the real noggin cruncher is, do you think the Temerians evolved on the surface and just went deeper underground and then devolved and started going up, or were they always underground? I think it's a little bit of both. They probably started creating tombs like Pharaoh style, and then when it just didn't really work out, or then they eventually just became like, holy crap. I realize this is the early Chalice, but trying to lock on. Alright, so before the next boss, I'll need to switch. We get the root chalice from this one? Interesting. So yeah, I'm sorry I cut off my own train of thought. I do that quite often. It kind of annoys me. As far as the state of like their physical appearance, I feel like they're probably normal at first, then over time the blood changed them, and that probably also compounded with them just being underground. Oops. Alright, so this is like the hunter's mark on the door that I was talking about. Alright. Gehrman stole a whole statue from the Chalice. Shake your head. Phobos is at the library at university reading something, and it just hit you how massive the scale of the dungeons is, stretching under an entire planet wherever you go. I don't know if it's like the entirety of the planet, and part of me wonders if this is supposed to be the nightmare, and I feel like you'd have to look at least the root chalices as being part of a nightmare. So it might be more susceptible to change, I guess. Thanks for the GG. I mean, we're a little bit over-leveled for this particular chalice. The arcane run. I mean, I might just YOLO the dog, but I wish I had more Quicksilver bullets since we're, I wasted a lot. Especially once we're just, one-shotting those kind of enemies. Dark bead vibes. Elda wonders, at one point, did the Tombarians realize this is who we are now? We build tombs? Yeah, that's a good question. And so, like, these things, while they might not have agency, it could just be because they're dead. It's kind of hard to say. Centipedes are in this one? Man, I really don't remember these dungeons, I guess. And I mean, I've run through them twice at least. Oh, there was a man. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Where'd he go? There's the knowledge. I lost it. Damn it. I'm sure we'll find more fluorescent flowers, and we'll see some in Bergenworth. Okay, sweet. It dropped its corpse. That'll be cool to see, though. We get Arcane Haze from them. That's kind of a rare drop. It's cool, though. Oh, damn it. We got a Snatcher over there. Double damn it. Let me actually look at my UI. So this kind of reminds me of like an insect of some sort, maybe a kind of phantasm. It's obviously some kind of invertebrate, with it being a centipede. I'm trying to flip it over, but I can't. So the ones in Bergenworth don't like drop their heads like this. Damn it. Trying to show it off. Do those hunter marks kind of look like they're carved in afterwards? Like to mark that the hunter's already been here already? That's a really good thought. I won't think so, just because of like some of the tombstones that we'll see. It'll be more obvious that it probably changed from the time of the Tombarians, from like hanged men. All right, I'm gonna probably give up on this guy. And our Snatcher's over there. You wonder if they brought up like a train of donkeys to lug everything up? Well, they do have like a bunch of carts, so that is a fairly decent possibility. I don't remember if we get like horse corpses down here. Oh, it's probably gonna be... Oh, gemstone. Oh yeah, because we're in the chalices. Okay, so we got another centipede over there. Totally didn't realize they were in the first layer. Spills out gastric juices. Oh, crap. Arcane Haze. Oh, almost flipped it. I can't tell. I think I screwed it up. Oh well. The gloves have the blood of vengeful spirits? Yeah. When you use them, the hunter rubs them together and the spirits go back stuff. I guess I could read that. Maybe we'll do that more in the Cainhurst times. It would have been cool to see the Tombarians go to the surface like they originally intended. I didn't ever hear that they were supposed to go to the surface, so I don't know the source on that. Not that I'm denying it. So the Mad Ladies tend to drop Quicksilver bullets. Some more quick ritual blood. Some more. Some cool corpses. And so these corpses can also have cold blood on them. And then we get these cool like fountain areas. We get moonlight, even though we've like gone to the third layer of this underground, which is another reason to believe this is like part of a nightmare. Like the geography just doesn't make a ton of sense. What is that arcane juice they spit out? The same as slime scholars? I don't know if it's the same, but yeah, okay, let me... It's a weird sound. Okay. Alright, so this tomb over here kind of has like the hanged man on it, and that gets more obvious when you look at the one like literally right next to it. Like that's super obvious, that's a hanged man. And then there's another one right there. This is what's on like the final tombstone, the final ritual tombstone in the Hunter's Dream and whatnot. So to me, I think that to the Tomarians, the earliest version of the Hunter's Mark was just a hanged man. Which I talk about in my latest video. Centipedes are weak to poke. Yeah, because they're kin. Makes sense. You wonder what the centipedes are? Like maybe an evolved form of phantasm, hence the moonflower? Yeah, I think they're kind of like a... They could be a phantasm. They could just be a regular centipede that drank or ate the blood, kind of like the pigs. Oh, that's what the sound is. It's a wandering pilgrim. Even one of those are in the first layer. That's awesome. Alright, let me record those. I could use some of that footage. Even though it's kind of wonky. This is cool. I think they can heal or hurt the player. So these ones are non-hostile. Oh, they kind of look like the Snatchers. Definitely look undead. They're called pilgrims. They're on a pilgrimage. Oh, they have like a caduceus looking like little thing. Oh, what does that look like? I think there's something else in Bloodborne. Maybe like the impurity rune? Or the corruption rune? I keep saying the League rune instead of the Cainhurst one. Kind of cool. Alright. Wonder what'll happen if we visceral. I mean, I have a good idea that it'll just be like the black mist and stuff, but... Well, that didn't work out. Oh, they have a ton of blood vials. That's pretty cool. Maybe the Temerians are sort of like the Boletarians who degraded by consuming souls/blood. So weird to think this game has ghosts in it. That's the way that I look at it. I feel like the blood is essentially comprised of ghosts and spirits and souls. And so, like, the more of it you consume, the closer you'll become to the dead if you don't turn into a beast first. Ow. Maybe it's because it's a fiction title rather than pure fantasy. So yeah, at least in this version of the game, I think it changed in the final one. When you flip the levers, their lights change colors. So the orange ones indicate like open doors, and the blue ones are closed. Rosary? Oh, you forget the English name for it? Yeah, it's very similar to a rosary, but slightly different. I mean, probably just serves the same purpose, really, but... Derek says, you think maybe these guys got patched out of this Chalice? Did this dungeon add a new character recently? Don't recall running into them, but you could be wrong. Okay. That'd be interesting if they bothered to patch, like, this, like, kind of a story one. I realized we got the lever, so we're pretty much done here. I just wanted to make sure there wasn't, some more, like, ritual bloods or something nearby. Why'd we kill the spirit? For the footage. Essentially. Did we come here? No spiders yet. So does that mean Odin is a god of the dead? That's a good question. We don't really know. I feel like there's enough reason for people to choose to believe that, and I feel like there's also enough reason to not believe that. So were later discs of this game already patched, or all discs on the starting version? I think the old Hunter one, the Game of the Year one, starts off on 1.06 because that has the DLC on it. But I don't know for sure. They're in, you just have to wait around for a while? Okay. Odin is a great one of blood, killed for the meme, essentially. That rosary was a twin spiral. It might be another iconography inspired by Berserk. The symbol of the Holy See was that. Not only like Berserk, but what else does it appear in? Like it's quite a common symbol for like medical treatment because it's a caduceus, which is like related to Greek and the two twin spiral snakes and whatnot. So we need to go like what, this way? Is this where we came in? Nope, other side. Oh yeah, and you can actually operate the cannons here. It's kind of funny if you invade somebody, you can like drop a bunch of shining coins to almost make it look like treasure, where it'll land and then just fire it on them if they ever come by. It pretty much only works on new players for kind of obvious reasons though. Alright, so we might get clapped by the dog because it's made out of fire. So I intend to just use like the executioner's gloves. Oh yeah, and Phobos brings up another great point that the caduceus is also related to Mercury as a symbol of like Quicksilver. All that kind of thing. Well, the will of the ancestors encoded like ghosts in the DNA. That's kind of how I feel about the blood. I'll make more parallels to this maybe in like future videos, but I feel like it's kind of like the live stream in Final Fantasy, so like very minor spoilers for like Final Fantasy 7 or like Final Fantasy 10. I should probably be careful. I don't have my actual pistol out. It's gonna be a challenge. Or not. Oh, okay. These don't have... Wait. It doesn't seem like these ones have as much health as the ones in Yharnam. It's kind of funny. I could probably put this away now. I mean, we can go with the IGN run as well. How do you even use... Oh, L2. That's weird. I mean, it makes sense because of the transform. We get some Bold Hunter's Mark. So we should get, like, ritual materials from this chest. I don't really know how this works. So you still take damage, and you just have crap stamina with this. Okay. Well, having a shield just kind of, like, made me instinctually want to try to, like, a Dark Souls backstab, which will not work in this game. So Tomb Mold. QS bullets. Oh, that's nice. Some mollies. Okay, I think... Is that it for this layer? This side room, maybe? Hermeticism, alchemy, and so on. I think everyone's beneath Odin's contempt. He isn't invested enough to be angry. Yeah, it's kind of hard to... what's the word? Ascribe... like emotions or motivations to great ones. So that's where we came in. Okay, so we could go down. I like how Miyazaki said that the wooden shield is more important for like the higher levels of New Game Plus. I feel like if you're getting hit at the higher levels of New Game Plus, you have other things to worry about. Oh yeah, so this thing was probably a trap, for those who don't know. You step on it, it'll shoot like darts at you. And I don't think there's any illusory walls in this chalice. So may as well check. Alright, yeah, so that should be everything here. Wait, I think we didn't go up there, though. Look around. Okay. And yeah, so those statues right there, like the ones with the lanterns, they show up everywhere in like Yharnam as well. So a lot of the statues in Yharnam have roots in the chalices, it seems. But they're like, these ones don't really show up elsewhere. Oh, is this the wrong way? Yeah, okay. Oh, there's a door there. That explains why I felt blind. It'd be great if Odin is the original cause of it all. It's writhing and changing things in the blood. I think that's a possibility. I think that could definitely be read. But unfortunately, not set in stone. I tend to think my second swing is wider than it actually is. So that's where we just were. So the next room, I think, should have, like, the treasure chest in it. Illusory walls are only thing in Lower Tumaru. Okay, for the main story ones. Thank you. I didn't think there was one in this one, but after seeing The Pilgrim, it made me reconsider my entire life. Oh, damn it. Hey, more ritual blood. Okay, here we go. Damn it. So there's nothing too crazy on these ones. Pretty much any of the chests, really. There's no mimics in Bloodborne, thankfully. There's just like a random table on the dude's head. That's funny. Oh, it's one of those. Just like misplaced. Some more ritual blood too. We get 4 of them. So that's like the real main purpose for like doing the side areas, because they typically contain the ritual bloods necessary to go to the next level. We probably got enough just from looting the corpses of enemies. So despite me saying like I'm speedrunning this, I obviously have not lived up to that promise. Killing every single enemy that I see, essentially. So we just drop down now. There's a very old trailer even where the statue atop Lawrence's beast skull has Mercury in its face. Yeah, we talked about that with the Lawrence's cutscene. I personally think it's supposed to represent blood. But yeah, there's a good chance with the Mercury as well. I should pay attention to where I'm going. But yeah, we need to stay up. What am I doing? Ferdinand, welcome back to the stream. Did the Tumerians build Yharnam City? I believe so, because the city of Yharnam is named after the Tumerian monarch, which would suggest a kind of relation between the two. There's like one. I thought there were 2 illusory walls in the base Chalice dungeons. Okay, so the next boss will be the watchdog of the old lords with the gigantic flame dog thing. So it might clap my cheeks because I do fire damage, which is a no bueno. I don't even have a second weapon I can use. So we'll see. We don't have like a ton of souls because this is like the very first Chalice. This is a cool enemy, Lava Dog. Kind of reminds me of like the Berserk Dog or Sullivan's Beasts. Oh god, absolutely no damage, huh? So it's gonna puke. Oh. Oh yeah, that charge. The sound feels really bad in here. Okay, bad dodge. It's been a while since I fought one of these. Break its limbs. Oh, that was really lucky. I tried to press up. There we go. This is kind of risky. It's puking. Don't know if it's going to charge, so I'm going to back off for a bit. Okay. Once you break its limbs, it will like start using more AoE fire style attacks from its arms that have been broken open, which is really cool. Oh, we can melee him to death probably. Let's screw it up at the last second. Oh, I wasn't being serious. Hey, hard mode. By which I mean definitely not BL4. Central Tumor Chalice. And so as we come into like the boss arena of like these sections, it kind of reminds me of the School of Mensis. With like all of the kind of mummified skulls and skeletons on the sidelines. It kind of reminds me of like all the skeletons that had the Mensis cages. We get some more of like the recurring tombstones, although they're more blank on these walls. Bad Doge. Good boy. Yharnam is also directly connected, as their sewers pretty much lead into the dungeons of Tumuru. Yeah, so I've wondered in earlier drafts of the story whether or not, like, the Church of the Good Chalice was supposed to lead to the dungeons, the Forbidden Graves, the Altar of Despair, or even maybe below Cainhurst, like where the maggots are. But I'm sure some of that is just more like wishful thinking than anything like official. Thank you for the GG. You guys love the OST. O'Neill, welcome in. They look like the Irithel beast now that you think about it. Yeah, the OST is extremely good. Don't back off too much. You might do the big jump. Mazel tov, it's a boy.
Welcome. What? Very well.
I should probably start investing. Oh, I can't invest.
Farewell, good heart.
Then in some Quicksilver bullets. Oh, we're really out entirely. Wow, this sucks. Why does arcane cost money? Alright, so next we'll do the Central Tumuru, and we'll go ahead and read those chalices. So this one should have more to say about the Tumerians. A chalice that breaks the labyrinth seal, but only a root chalice changes the shape of an old labyrinth when used in a ritual. The old labyrinth was carved out by the Tumerians, superhuman beings that are said to have unlocked the wisdom of the Eldritch Truth. So I've mentioned this before in my videos that Eldritch Truth is another term for what is literally called the arcane stat in Japanese, so I feel like they should have been consistent with the terminology there. So the Tumerians were able to use the arcane, and whatever that's supposed to mean can still be like argued, but I just want to stress that there's an inconsistency in the terminology of the game, unfortunately. Phoba says, you were saying you thought the vase thing represented blood? Do you think Quicksilver is used as a substitute for blood? I feel like Quicksilver would probably just be like, if we think about the fluid metaphor, it would be able to sink through blood even further. So, alright, we have enough ritual blood. Sweet. So if we think about like water and fluid in general, water would be at the top, blood is thicker than water, so they say, so it sinks to the bottom of water, and then Quicksilver, being like a liquid metal, would be even heavier than blood and its impurities, and would probably be closest to the bottom. And that bottom being like the Nightmare Realms, which is kind of hinted towards in the Lake Rune, in the final line there, overcome this hindrance and seek what is yours. The Japanese is clear, it's like, rather than overcoming a hindrance, it's more like you need to go beyond the depths of waters to experience the eldritch truth, because water is the augur. It serves as the bulwark, the barrier between sleep and reality. So that's kind of how I think it all fits together. Replenish the QS bullets. Oh yeah. I probably actually need to go to the storage. Wait, no, I should have just bought them, so we should be good. Logarius is clearly Temerian looking. Do you think it was a rogue Cainhurst scion who hated his own blood, or just a Yharnamite close to their roots, or even a Ronin from Tumaru? I don't really think it matters too much. I mean, I don't like to read Logarius as a Temerian. I feel like the blood can make people look more mummified, but I don't think it's too important. He, at earlier points of development, we know he was supposed to be like the king of Cainhurst, and they just didn't do a super good job of making that work. Deathrock says, even Eldritch means arcane in Japanese terminology. Right. So my issue isn't necessarily that they called it Eldritch, as much as it is that they were inconsistent with saying arcane versus Eldritch, because it makes them sound more disparate in English. Because when we look at a bunch of the descriptions, whenever Eldritch Truth or Eldritch Wisdom comes up, it's literally the same term used for the arcane stat. Arcane Haze. It also appears in the Rune Workshop tool. So instead of Wondrous Strength, it's Eldritch or Arcane Strength. And it just shows that a lot of things which kind of seem unrelated at first are actually connected, like explicitly. Okay, let's go for the actual more speedrun stuff, even though these things give more echoes. I say that and I'm immediately killing this thing. So as we come into this level, we can see that these things are no longer dying in just like one hit. So we're moving on up in the world. You're saying Quicksilver is like the dregs of humanity? Kind of. I don't know if the impurities of blood are even heavier than Quicksilver. It's a good possibility. But like the dreg idea does kind of come up. I mean, we do get the blood dregs from the vile bloods and whatnot. No, we don't really like get them from it, but they're just connected to the idea. Oh man. Big dogs. Let's use the iframes. So it's blue, now it's going to be orange. Sweet. We can run back to the door. Oof. I think that's a trap, I don't know. Treasure? No. Dead end? Not quite. I think a big part of the problem is association with Lovecraft themes when that isn't originally intended, when Eldritch is used as a term in Bloodborne. That's another thing that I would say is more of a translation thing that can bother me a little bit, because I feel like, okay, sweet, it was a big circle. With the Lovecraft stuff, I think that tends to encourage people to not interact with the lore as much, because they'll feel like it's not meant to be understood. But I don't feel like the games are meant to give off that vibe quite as strongly as some people believe. So that's relatively minor and why I prefer to stress the whole arcane thing, though. But that is kind of a motivator as well. Hey Patrick, welcome in. We get Beppis. So, as I said in my videos, we don't really have a lot of beasts in Tumaru. The exceptions are the Beast-Possessed Soul as a boss, and the Bloodletting Beast. I actually don't know if this dude's actually weak to Arcane or Fire. Okay, yeah. despite him being a pyromancer type thing. So we can also parry him and flame sprayer him. I don't know what's more effective at this point. Oh, I thought that was too early. I thought that was too late. Alrighty. Backing off because I can't see what it's doing. Let's try this one. Oh, not as good. Okay. Phasing music? Nope, not yet. There we go. Sweet. Tempering Blood Gemstone. Parry the punch. What the hell are all these guys even doing before you committed armed robbery on their asses? They're digging. They're expanding the tombs forever. Beppis Soul. Mega Blair hates the Lovecraftian, no point in understanding. Yeah, that one. It's really unfortunate. Have you come across any amusing Japanese idioms? There's the Pebble one, although I mean that's kind of, what's the word? Accurate, represented pretty well in the English as well. Like there's nothing greater, no more fun than like throwing pebbles at the enemies. Oh, those things are actually weak to fire. Isn't there another one in here? I thought there were two. Oh, there it is. So those things have rapid poisoning. Oh yeah, yeah. And so these things are kind of cool to show off as well. So as we start to like delve deeper into the labyrinths, we'll start to see like more shields and relics of different ages. So whether there's like a war or something, I don't really know. One could make that argument. I probably just stepped down something. Okay. Yeah, just the body of armor or whatever. So this is more like a warrior's grave type thing. So whether the Tumerians put it that way, or whether these things are Tumerians or they're enemies of Tumerians is up for grabs. I feel like these were probably enemies trying to raid Tumru for their treasures and whatnot. But that's just kind of headcanon. Take that as you will. Quicksilver is hella poisonous. No more Beppis. Oh yeah, so as far as like some of the Japanese idioms, it's more like obscure grammar at times. Like I didn't necessarily know if Amelia is using negative conjugations in her prayer or an archaic form of Japanese, which means like shall not or shall be granted. Oh yeah, those are oil urns. Good thing I was not actually like looking at the chat there that second. And then we get a gel coming up in this next little section. And the gels are kind of cool. Is it just rats? I thought there's gels on the ceiling. I was literally looking and didn't notice. I shouldn't mash. I'm gonna die. I didn't mash until it was too late. Feels bad, man. So the gels are really cool. They're like comprised of corpses and corpse jelly, I guess, whatever the hell that is. Kind of like the dregs of blood. Did I not light the lantern? Or is this the lantern? No, this is layer 1, it said. I didn't. Okay. Too much autopilot. F for Fallen Knights. F for me. Copy says, that armor on the ground is worn by one of the guys in Cainhurst portraits and similar to what the knights on the horse are wearing in Annalise's throne room. Yeah. So it's easier to show off with like the portraits and stuff. The dudes that look really old potentially are wearing that armor. So whether or not the people of Cainhurst raided the chalices, was I going inside? Oh, that explains it. Okay. What was I saying? So yeah, whether or not the people of Cainhurst just raided the dungeons first, or whether or not they're actually descended is up for grabs. Oh yeah. That reminds me. Obviously not the most optimal time to do it, but let's check out the alluring dress. This is what Arianna wears. And in the later patches of the game, it gets translated or rewritten as the noble's dress, I think. Noble dress. Whereas this one's called alluring, which is a stronger tie to Arianna, who is the Lady of the Night. A finely tailored Bordeaux dress, worn by the nobles of the old bloodline, that traces back to the forsaken castle Cainhurst. So there's a stronger connection between Arianna in this version of the game, which is fun. Derek's interpretation is that it's a sign of explorers delving into the tombs prior. The Tumerians put up a hell of a fight in that case, lol. That's kind of how I like to look at it, too. Alright, some scorpions. Oh yeah, I should also look at these. Yeah. So one of the cool things about the scorpions is their faces. Okay, you can't see this. They totally look like they have humanoid faces, and they're just so damn creepy. So whether or not these were humans prior to transforming, or whether or not they're actual like literal scorpions who took so much of the blood, they started to become more humanoid, is questionable. But I think either one is cool. Probably one of the most terrifying concepts is no matter which you believe in terms of like their transformations, the fact that you can find scorpions that have like tons of the little babies on them is just quite frankly terrifying as far as like the implications. So this is a more complete version of the armor. And a lot of people think that this armor stuff kind of resembles what you can find in like Demon Souls too. Which is kind of true. The slime things are very weak against fire. Yeah, I remember that. So we should be able to kill them really easily as long as we don't get got by our own blindness. Okay, I see it better now. So yeah, they will, I guess I should get footage of this. Because I only talk about this like in every single video that I ever make. Oh, rat. I was gonna try to record, jerk. Let's get away. Let's get you out of frame. Alright. That'll be good for either way, I think. Sweet. Patrick likes to think that the army at one point belonged to Cainhurst. They went down there to explore. Maybe they came from there since we find the blood liquors in both places. Yeah, and that's another good point as well. So either people that became scorpions or scorpions with too much human blood. Very creepy. Yeah, so I think either one of those, in addition to like finding the mother scorpions, is just terrifying. Is this where we just came from? No, because I don't know. Okay, definitely not. Oh yeah, this is the side area. I think this one actually connects to the main area. Ritual Blood 3. Oh, crap. And those dudes have pikes, which is like a more medieval type weapon. One of the curious things to me about the Tumerians is some of them like use like no joke guns. So it's like the Tumerians actually have like gun technology, which is kind of crazy to think about. So it really calls into question like how far back these things go. Did the Tumerians essentially just loot the guns off of like hunters who ventured down here? I think that's a really strong possibility, a really metal one at that. So we get some more of the remains, memorial type things over here. And a drawbridge. Oh, and I guess it should point out like a lot of the hanged corpses here. So this is a very Tumerian thing. This is where I think the original idea of like the hunter's mark came from, just like hanged men, letting the blood sink to the bottom, and like drinking the heaviest portions, like the literal dregs of the blood, because that'll be like the most potent source of like the cold blood and whatnot. Metal Doji, welcome in. Chalice Dungeons, woo. Walster says, some of that armor is probably left over from when Bloodborne had a more direct connection to Demon Souls. Maybe what you see is what's left of the beast. Beware the hardcore room. You think the fire connection to the Tumerians is meant to be expanded on? So yeah, I think the more blood you take to a certain degree, it might give you like more connection with like the nightmares and the beyond the natural realm, which is where you can get like the connection to the quote-unquote arcane, eldritch truth, and pyromancy and things like that. And so like Lawrence is on fire, Maria's blood is on fire, the Tumerian elders can use pyromancy in their attacks. It's a little bit of a shame. Oh yeah, this is the dangerous room that I literally just got warned about. Oh, that's really satisfying though. So, one thing that I would like to bring up is I think, you know how we have like the brick trolls in Yharnam and whatnot? I think the brick trolls are essentially just like the Yharnamite version of like the big merciless watchers, like the fat ones. And like these dudes are like the normal beast patient type guys and all that stuff. So I do think there's a kind of parallel between the different types of enemies we find throughout Yharnam and Tumeru, and even like the Lauren chalices and stuff like that. I don't know how true that is, but that's just kind of how I look at things. Hey, we get the Hintertomb chalice. So, okay, so it was worth coming into this room and doing the side content. So us pushing this lever lowered the drawbridge, which I didn't show off, but I think we'll get to see like one more of those eventually someplace. That's the little jerk that was throwing the mollies at us. Trying to explode the oil urns, which is pretty funny, honestly, but yeah, okay. Baby back to Broodmum was a chef's kiss. Mega says, another weird Tumerian thing, one of the enemy hunters is a bone ash hunter with a hunter pistol and saw spear? Okay. I don't remember its actual weapons, but they invented the guns. It would have been so helpful if you had a blood processing temple room in Cathedral Ward. It could clear up so much. What do you mean by that? Walster says, so which dungeon is this lower Tumeru? This is central. I think lower is next. Patrick says, the Bone Mash Hunter is always female, by the way, and she uses fire vapor. Okay. You came in from the highest spot to the drawbridge? What the deep lore on bolt damage is, because there's like 3 things tying it in the game. So one of the ideas with bolt damage is it could be related to like friction and whatnot. I don't really know how I feel about it. When we look at the lore in Silver Beast, which can use like electricity in some of their attacks, so this is like, it just doubles back. There's nothing else in this section, which is all good. We can proceed to the main point. Sorry for interrupting my own thoughts. The lore in Silver Beast, like their claws can grow from like their bones. They use electric attacks. And so there's like with the Tonitrus, there's the whole like Vandegraaff generator that it might be taken from. No, this is the right way. Van de Graaff generators or like Tesla coils, which are worth considering. Like they operate based on static electricity. So perhaps like the bones within the beast shift around enough able to produce electricity. Sorry, I felt like that was a little bit repetitive there. But that's some of the thoughts behind it. So whether or not the abhorrent beast is the same or different, I don't really know. And as for like the bolt paper, I think it's supposed to be like similar to the idea of paper files or sandpaper. So you could still say there's like friction there. How the hell like coating your weapon with a piece of paper makes it electrified is pretty crazy, but it could be like insight related nightmare logic. Queen killer lore? I don't really think there's a lot of lore for the summonable NPCs that weren't included in the base game. So I personally don't hold those type of things as being canon. Oh no. Hey, we made it stand up. Oh no, 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 no. Okay. I managed to switch out my firearm in the nick of time. Sweet. A tier 3 ritual blood. Alright. Joseph says, you never played the Final Fantasy games? Which one would you start on? That's a bit of a question. You'll get a lot of different answers. I feel like narratively, it's good to start on like Final Fantasy VI. I would say the original Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy IX is good. 10 is pretty decent starting point, perhaps. What else? I can't really say. Like the 7 remake is okay. I have a decent amount of gripes with it narratively, but it makes sense that it changed so much. So my answer would be like the original Final Fantasy 6 and 7 or 9 or 10 would be decent starting points. And then the others are just like more personal preference. Like, I mean, it's all personal preference, but those ones are pretty good for narratives, I think. Queen Coolers or Lost Executioner, maybe? Elda says, that makes sense. Without the curse and without a strict hierarchy, they could steer the cast into more tractable versions of what beasts are. You mean, if we had a level in the game that showed how the church gets all their blood, it would be hell helpful. Okay, yeah, I see what you mean. Abhorrent was meant to be Dark Beast at some point. Oh, well, we'll see that in this version of the game. Their names are not what you may be familiar with. Hey, because we visceraled, we get a brain sucker. Or blood licker. Why do I keep calling them brain suckers? Are there 2 of them? What the? Oh, the corpse was mashed into it. I was so confused. It looked so badass. I was like, that thing is huge. I think that's a trap. Okay. Okay. I was afraid the visceral wouldn't work because we were on the stairs. That happens pretty frequently, honestly. That's what I get for just not trying to kill it earlier. Seeing those ladies stand up is always alarming. I didn't realize that there were just like normal standing variants in the root versions until fairly recently, actually. That was really cool to kind of see. Especially since I'm like super familiar with the game, so to see something kind of novel like that is really interesting. Patrick says, you get the feeling that no hunter really went to the Hinter Tombs because there's not a single NPC summon in there or the lower levels. You don't know what these are supposed to be, Tumuru/Loran? Oh, you mean the Hinter Tombs? Yeah, that's a good question. I think they're supposed to just be like the outliers of the chalices. Holy crap. Oh no. Stop. Stop bullying me. Stop bullying me. I don't mess around with the blood liquors. Okay, boss is over here. I don't remember what's next. If this is central, I think the next floor will be Rom, which is gonna suck. FF10 has a bit of a goofy story for you, but the gameplay is great. Oh, Keeper. So this thing's probably super strong to everything I have. Ugh, that's not good. Okay, I did a decent amount of damage with the melee. My range. I tried to look at chat and got super punished. The Madman, lower Hinge Tomb, second level, layer 3. Isn't Lauren also Tumerian? Maybe. They could have been like the equivalent to Yharnam versus Cainhurst. That was not really worth fishing for. Oh, this is gonna hurt now. Oh god. Oh yeah, I should probably switch out my armor set, shouldn't I? No! Damn it. Didn't have the range to rally and stun lock. We finally got on our Chalice run. Okay, I don't think I'll switch out my equipment set, other than my armor. So isn't Lauren also Tumerian? Yeah, I don't really know. I feel like I would argue that it's not. They're probably like a different culture. So let's look at fire resistance. Shard's really good. And we need slash and rust resistance. Oh, 80 on those, holy crap. Definitely not going to go with that. Okay. This is probably the closest we can do for now. Hinted tombs are the frontier. It's the furthest, newest tombs. It makes sense no one's there. It's probably underneath random wilderness or even the sea. Yeah, that's how I feel about them. That sucks. Sucks it's not even a fire-based hunter tool. Keepers are weak against arcane and blood. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of either of those right now. My Executioner's Gloves didn't do a ton, and I have, like, absolutely not enough Quicksilver bullets to really make it work right now. I just need to get good at the melee of this weapon. It's really cool that seems to catch her dodge back though. Oh no. Wrong aspect of my weapon. That was so delayed. Okay. Ow. Can't afford to get hit twice. And have not max HP. Oh, it didn't keep going. Okay. Oh, I'm transformed. I'm trying to read chat, but just freaking out too much. Oh, I didn't even pick up my damn echoes. Let's not risk it. Uh-oh. I thought she was going to do the big wind-up and one-shot me. Okay, that wasn't too bad. 2 attempts. I did a decent amount of damage. More than I would have expected against them for using the fire gem. I really need better gems for this character right now. Use Dress and Style on them keepers. Can't you get Augur by now? Yeah, if we go to Bergenworth, it's okay. We got the Executioner's Gloves. I didn't really feel like doing the shadows and going through the Forbidden Woods. Although having the Beast Roar would probably be beneficial. Let's go to the Dream after this and probably level up twice. You'd like to have seen more about Lauren personally, since the Chalice descriptions are very interesting. Yeah, I wish there was more about Lauren and Eyes. They both deserve some expansions. Is this the Ram Chalice? Or is that the next one? Oh well, we'll figure it out. I'll go to the Dream before the boss. Thanks for the GGs. Maybe the Lauren Great One is the Moon Presence. I feel like, for the Lauren one, the most likely Great One could have been the, like, Great One Gold Beast type thing, the Great One Beast that got cut. I like the little blue aura that its lanterns get. These are essentially like the hollow version of the two Marians, just despondent, chillin' for all eternity. Feels bad, man. Isn't there a Chalice that says after Lauren's downfall, Yharnam would be next? That would mean these lands existed at the same time. So part of the thing is the language on that is more like it's supposed to be extrapolation based on the past. Maybe the language doesn't come across that way super strongly in English. I feel like it wasn't too bad, but I just don't remember off the top of my head. But maybe it was a little bit wonky. Oh yeah, this place. Damn it. Looked at chat and couldn't tell how far it was. Your fights with her are quick and decisive. You smash her quick or die trying. The Keeper. Yeah, a lot of fights are like really feast or famine for me. For whatever reason, I really struggle against the Tumerian descendants. Oh, we get the Evil Labyrinth Spirit. Okay. Let me record this. Oh yeah, she's probably not going to have like the special attack that I'd like to show off. So I feel like that's kind of a quintessential Nightmare style attack. Being able to just teleport like that. I guess it's not really attack, but I mean we see Murgo's Wet Nurse do it. Queen Yharnam can do it. So maybe there's something special in the blood that's able to kind of divest those properties as well. How do you all pronounce eyes? I say is. So I just say eyes because I think it's kind of a fun throwback to the idea of insight and eyes on the inside. Like the Japanese for it is like izu, but it's kind of hard to say whether or not that's actually how it's how it's actually supposed to be pronounced in English. trying to actually use like the sweeping it. Wow, it's unlocked. My own strat worked against me. I was actually trying to use just the AoE of the transform mode, but I done got. Are there references to plasma in this game? I feel like Iosefka's blood vial would be the most equivalent to that. Because when we look at it, it's like all yellow compared to like the blood vials from the other women and even the base ones in the game. Wait, some more blood vials. Oh crap! Was that one there before? Oh, we just woke him up. He was in the other room, huh? Stop. Oh, that was unintended. I was trying to do that. That was stressful. Okay. When you melee the keepers, they have a built-in counterattack to break your combo. When you shoot the hunter pistol after melee, you have a strong chance to parry them. Yeah, I kind of noticed that. There's a couple times where I like accidentally broke the keepers by parrying them too much, and they got stuck in the ceiling, and that was not fun. So I tend to be a little cautious just trying to parry fish them now. Because it took me like 15 minutes to break free of it. So, did I go that way? Oh yeah, we died to those things. I died to something silly. Not something like actually terrifying. Oh, they don't take a lot of damage. But I do, holy crap. There we go. That still gave me trouble a little bit. Right, cold blood. You wish that was maybe a reference? Oh, the little ceiling sensor scared me. I thought it was like something moving. You always thought it was a reference to the land of Ib from Lovecraft. Oh, this doesn't open from this way. Oh, does this one have the fake wall? No, it's just the hidden one. Not hidden, but like dark. I remember it took me a really long time, my first time coming through this chalice, to figure that out. Sweet. Some tomb mold. With people descending from the moon, etc. situation. Oh, sorry. In ancient civilizations, okay, I see what you're saying. So that's a Lovecraftian thing? I know that's not a fake wall. So we need to go back to where the Snatcher was, I think. Who do you think the imposter Iosefka works for? You mean she had a numbing mist, so being a Cainhurst spy is an obvious choice? Let them say choir member or something. So a lot of people confuse her equipment set with the choir set because it's white, but she's wearing just like the white hunter robe, which is kind of rare. I think you only ever see it in... Is it the Forbidden Woods that you pick it up? Or is that the black set? No, I think the white set is in the Forbidden Woods. But since you don't really see a lot of like church people wearing it, it's pretty easy to confuse it for the choir set. So she could be a potential member of the choir because like the celestial emissaries are related to the choir by virtue of being in the Lumenwood Garden right next to the orphanage. Okay, so I think the one from the side just connects to the main area. If I remember correctly. Which I'm probably not, but... oh well. And we also got the boulders to go to the other way on. You assume she was in it for herself? That's another possibility. She says she knew she was different, she was chosen, so yeah. She could be her own, like, free agent, so to speak. Maria has those dashes that could be a lesser form of teleportation. That could also be related to, like, the old hunter bone, which causes the quickening effect. That could have just been from Maria. It's a common theory. Because, like, the doll prays at that grave very often and whatnot. So this is like a treasure room, which is really cool. We'll be able to show off some cool statues. And it's usually guarded by, like, watchers. Yeah. So this one has the kidnapper, and I think there typically are some madmen's knowledges in here. Maybe not in this one. The later ones, then. Probably just sneak around this guy. So these rooms terrified me at first because there's so many damn statues. So I thought there was going to be, like, a lot of traps. Oh, we woke him up. But these rooms are safe other than the enemies within them. Treasuries and stuff. These places kind of remind me of, like, the what are they called in Skyrim? Like the Nordic ruins or whatever they are. That's what they remind me of. Sage's wrist. That's another ritual material. White church garbs only for superior doctors? Yeah, like surgeons and crap. Okay. So there's, like, a bunch of messenger-style statues in here. One of the cool things is we get different types of them. So some are just kind of like normal Temerian-looking like things. Other are, like, covered in, like, fur and look more like beasts or like Lauren clerics. I think there were 3 types of statues in general. Oh yeah, and the cloaked ones. Alright. I make you look like a clown with my insight accumulation at this stage? Oh. Yeah, so we can definitely get 60 before going to ROM in the base game. Even in the normal game, if you do all of the side content first and don't expend any of your insight, you can get over 60 before ROM. You just need to go to Cainhurst and the Nightmare Frontier. I think no chalices are necessary. You guys feel like the fake Iosefka could be a rogue spy? I can see it. Simon says, Iosefka and the old hunters, Amelia, both have unique white church dresses with bare feet. Miyazaki probably behind that, yeah. Any thoughts on the skull thing at the end of these rooms? Do you mean this one specifically? This one almost looks like a statue. It kind of reminds me, is it of Gaius? Like was he a Roman dude? Let me look it up. Let me look at the images. Oh, no, I guess it doesn't really match up. I was thinking of something else then. I mean, it looks like an old marble statue, so they all kind of look the same to a degree. All right, let me go back to the stream. Yeah, I don't really have too many thoughts about this one specifically, but the most important statue to me in these treasuries are the statues of this queenly figure, which is what we can find in Cainhurst as well. We can find these on the dining table. They're like on the big door leading into Cainhurst. There's the male king and this like queenly figure. There are also gigantic versions of this in the room with Queen Annalise. So to me, with Temerian relics being found in Cainhurst, it leads me to believe that the people of Cainhurst were the rightful descendants of Tumeru and whatnot. But there is also the possibility that Cainhurst just looted it from the chalices. Do you remember discovering the illusory walls on accident in this game? I think I hit like every single wall my first time coming through these. Oh, what am I doing? Danger zone. Okay, that's death. Oh no 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 no! I'm screwed. I thought that was it. Is that a blood liquor? No, that's just the corpse. This is the side area, isn't it? And Parl, the quick step was the lost technique of the old hunters, and Maria's an old hunter, so it makes sense she learned the technique. I think it was hers originally, because she has such high quality blood of being like directly related to the queen, like a collateral bloodline. So she's like a high nobility essentially. And so that might be a technique that's just native to her, whereas like Garamond needs to get buffed by like the moon presence itself to be able to do it. One of the cool things about this room is like these little burning pyres are filled with the corpses of sacrificed dogs, it looks like. It's just kind of weird, but worth showing off. Maybe cats, who knows? Or maybe just rats before they got really big. I don't know, I think they're supposed to be dogs. The cloaked messenger statues look like the DS3 pilgrims? A little bit. And so that's just the normal one. It looks more like a regular dog. Smaller than the other ones that we see. Are there any ones that pop out of these? Okay, no, I didn't think so in this room. And then I think this door is just like a dead end. So we go up top. You'd grind with your summoned buddies and just piddle away in these. Maybe it's a monumental. Didn't Garamond teach all the old hunters quickening? I mean, you can believe that. I feel like it probably would have been more relevant to the people of Cainhurst. And at least in the cut content, Garamond betrayed Willem, which may imply, depending on what you believe with Alfred. Damn it, I thought I was going to dodge that. Or like, I thought the tree was going to block it. It might imply that with Garamond being like the first person to betray. Oh, damn it. Not this place. Okay, I remember. Kind of. Oh, no, 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 no. So many Chai Maidens. I'll leave the lesser ones. I was just trying to kill the real one. Let's kite them away. These things run pretty fast. This is going to be painful, isn't it? Alright, well... They were definitely coming from this room. Oh. Bro, where was she? Isn't there a second one nearby? Oh, my own character model just scared me. Did she summon all of them? I thought they summoned 2 max. Oh, well, that's good enough for me. I'm curious about that treasure, but it's probably nothing important. Damn it, I can't just leave it be. You think veterans of Garamond's time learned it as a elite technique and it was lost when Ludwig ushered in? Oh yeah, so I didn't finish my thought. Sorry about that. Do I use the flame spray? Yeah, okay. I feel like Garamond, if he went to Cainhurst first, there probably would have been a decent number of original old hunters that were able to use quickening. But that's just conjecture, and it's based on cut content, so don't believe it too strongly. But I feel like it kind of just makes sense to me. Since we see Garamond has to get buffed by something else to use it himself. So it leads me to believe that it probably wasn't something that he could do natively. But they might have just taken it from the bodies of their hunter friends who had the ability. Which is kind of cool. Alright, so that's that. I think we could just run off now. And then we'll go to the Hunter's Dream, level up, and then finish off this boss. Yeah, because everything else I'm not going to worry about in this place. You never notice the dogs in the fire? Nice to show something new off, I suppose. Although it's a little bit macabre. Oh, that was weird. Okay. They summoned 4. Okay. You think Garamond was just fast as crap? That might just be Garamond being old? Maybe. Where'd the Temerians get guns from? Did they invent them? That was something that we were talking about earlier. One possibility is they could have looted them off of like hunters who tried to venture down there. But it's really hard to say for sure. Maybe they did invent them. We don't really know how well the timeline of this game matches up into like our reality. So maybe gunpowder has been around for a while. So I need 11 dexterity and a 9 skill, or 11 skill and 9 blood tinge. Okay, I'll start leveling that stuff up.
Welcome. What is
For the eventuality, we do get a decent gem for it. And then just spend it all on Quicksilver bullets. And then double check our gems. I don't think anything else is going to be better, but may as well check. Oh, because it has flat. In rapid poison? That's interesting. I wonder if the slow poison works with the bullets. That'd be kind of funny and broken, maybe. Okay, I'll leave that now. Let's go back. You don't think there's anything that relates them to Cainhurst in the finished game? I do wonder if the portrait that nobody knows who it's of is supposed to represent Garamond while he's younger. But I agree with you overall. I mean, there's the whole, like, Maria connection explicitly. But it is questionable where they met. They didn't have to meet in Cainhurst. I also think it's because Garamond was old and needs to get buffed into fight in general. Canonically, Garamond was the creator of quickening, maybe? It's interesting that it says, like, the early hunters and not necessarily the first hunter used it specifically, though. So, let's check out the Hunter Bone. He was an apprentice to old Garamond and a practitioner of the art of quickening, a technique particular to the first hunters. Actually, let me look at the Japanese. I wonder if it is the first one. Because if so, that would just dispel all ambiguity. Let me see. It doesn't really say. Like, it doesn't. Oh, wait. Oh, so I was looking at the wrong paragraph. So yeah, it's okay. It's pretty similar to like the early days, or the earliest hunters, I suppose. The beginning period of hunters. So maybe not necessarily Garamond himself, but just amongst the early ones. So I suppose we could warp that to whatever we all believe for ourselves. Do you think of the imagery the Hangman ties into Gehrman's lost leg? I mean, certainly, especially if you want to like compare it to Odin mythologies and Woden, which is essentially the same thing, and like all that kind of stuff. And even if you look at the tarot card, like there's some explanations of the Hanged Man tarot card, and if you wanted to just like apply what the website say about that to Bloodborne, it fits kind of scarily so in some ways. I think civilizations tend to invent gunpowder and trick weapons as they rise and fall and start the cycle over. You never broke your jewel to get the gem? You're such a hoarder. There's Maria. You don't think Maria's like extremely loyal? Okay. Descendant. This dude might clap me. I should have parried that. That's not how you do it. The cool and annoying thing about them is they don't telegraph a lot of their attacks super much or very much. Oh yeah, let's try this. Oh, he'll dodge it. Okay, that did no damage. Granted, I only used it very, very briefly. Oh, I had that one out. Oh, that was my chance to parry again. Because I was low on health. Oh, too slow. I didn't go for it. Thank you. Oh no, phase 2. I wasn't spamming, you were spamming. Shut up. Oh, it went over him. It's gonna hurt. Okay, we should be okay, hopefully. Not like that. Okay. Whew. Almost got. Lower tumor. Not a ton of echoes yet. So the lower tumor is going to be annoying. For sure. You don't think Maria was extremely loyal to Cainhurst? Just being a proper hunter is a big red flag, but you always figured she might have lived after the purge. Gehrman was old-fashioned. Maria could have taught the hunters her night secrets, maybe. Mega Blair says, now that you guys mentioned it, the Bloody Crow also uses quickening. He also uses the bone, which is kind of like what the normal hunters do. Whereas Maria's is just like intrinsic to her. Right, anything else? Just buying Quicksilver bullets, maybe? Oh, we're low on blood vials? Damn, I suck. Can't just, oh, now we're gonna be out of, blood echoes. Let's see if we have enough ritual materials as well. Do we have enough? Let me... Okay, yeah. So this is a chalice that breaks the labyrinth seal. It's pretty much the exact same thing as the central one. This is just a bigger chalice. Alright. Maybe it's a Cainhurst thing then? You always figured it was the opposite with the Rakuyo being bloodless Chikage. So part of the reason why I think she uses the Rikuyo is because if she needs to use her blood for her attacks, it wouldn't help if she used a weapon that absorbed her own blood. This one's going to be difficult, at least with the ROM. I guess I could go to Bergenworth and then pick up the empty Phantasm Shell. Oh wait, no. I could remove the gems and then use the Bolt Paper and the Beast Blood Pellet. That would make the most sense. Derek asks, do you recall if the Descendants boss name is more or less the same in Japanese? That's an interesting name. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just Matsue, which is just Descendant. Clutched it. Thank you. You think Cainhurst techniques are advanced because they didn't lose their Temerian heritage completely, like Yharnam did? And they probably kept a lot of the family techniques from their inhuman days. That's kind of how I look at the Vile Bloods, yeah. Scary Kiai? Temeru Descendant has the best fashion in the game. I like the Elders with his like crossbow staff. Old man. I should probably like that. Mia probably is getting buffed to some extent though. You doubt she's doing the Warden Fire stuff she does on her third phase in life? Maybe. It's hard to say. I mean, she uses her own blood, stabs herself. So she could just be like Metal Bat from One Punch Man. The more damage she gets, the stronger she is. There's only one illusory wall for every layer in this chalice? Okay, sweet. Be on the lookout. Definitely not that one. So the ones with the spikes pointing towards you, you can't open from that side. So that's one thing to be cognizant of as you play these chalices. Oh, he lived. So my damage has fallen off a lot more. Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it. Not the spiders. Spider chalice for a spider boss. Oh no, 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 no. Oh, we're not doing enough damage. Oh, damn it. And then we get like the old style Temerian knights over there with the crossbows, which is kind of cool. Dancer, and y'all still going? So jelly, lol, been at work. You'd rather be playing Bloodborne. It's understandable. The chalices aren't my favorite content, but it's still fresh enough where it hasn't grated on me yet this playthrough. Go down a ladder and stay there. The red spiders will fall. Yeah. I was just going to try to YOLO sprint it. But now that I know they're there, I'll still screw it up. Oh, no, no, no. This way, this way. Oh, God. This is not what we needed. Oh, the one fell on me. Alright, so I do need to slow down and probably just get them down the ladder is easiest. You're stuck on the Lorn Beast? Oh, yeah. The Lorn Dark Beasts are really strong in the chalices because they're not as gimmicky in terms of like breaking their limbs. It can be really tough. I could have gone to the Hintertombs. That probably would have made more sense than coming here next. Or now. Pretty sure this is a dead end. Oh no. I don't think this is going to be enough. Okay. Barely. But barely counts. Dough. I forgot. Just pointed it out and forgot like 3 seconds later. Okay. So I think if we get close, he'll pull out his weapon. Could be mistaken. But yeah, it wasn't. But more than that, let's do this. Okay. Oh, no, was not ready. Oh, that's his crossbow he's still using. That's cool. They got bags on their heads. One peeper. Pulled out its sword and it was invisible for a second. That's funny. Alright. Not the bees. She's super cute katana using Hunter Girl. It's a little bit too much for you to accept with Maria. Some movement maybe from being in the nightmare. That's another salient point. Okay. So we get spiders in the next room and all that fun stuff. Actually, I wonder how this does. Really? Guess I just wasn't close enough. Oh, trying to read chat. Okay. It lived? Oh, that explains it. There's a room in Lauren Baby with 2. Oh yeah. That room is garbage because you don't even get anything from it. I spent so long trying to get through that room my first time playing. I think it's Ailing Lauren too. Maybe not. It's like the literal like hardest room in the base Chalice dungeons in my opinion, and you get nothing from it. It's like literally like Quicksilver bullets and like blood vials. That was painful. What would keep Maria from being a Mary Sue perhaps is, depending on your interpretation, she's made mistakes. First and foremost, partaking in the events of the fishing hamlet. I wish there was more between her and Gehrman, because there's just really not enough to characterize that relationship for me. Definitely not going to be any side areas. Okay. Are there any tridents in the game that would make a fun enemy weapon? Well, if you count like the pitchforks, I guess they have like 4 spokes, so not really tridents, but kind of close. Need to check the ladder trick. Hey, we get watchers. Do I have my... I don't know what gun I have out. Okay, so I did have the right one out. Oh, this is the small room. That makes this one a little bit more challenging. Not a ton of damage. Damn. Well, I rallied that back, which is nice. Holy crap, he caught the dodge, did a lot more damage. Pitchforks are good enough for you. Too slow on that. Oh no, that's not good. I needed to recover that health. Too slow. Oh, and I got clipped. Not doing enough damage here. This is one of those ones that's just more annoying than anything. Because of this guy, really. Oh, that was pretty bad timing, but worked out. Sweet, okay. Now let's make a little bit more progress. Hopefully we don't get screwed by that. Oh, that should have gone. Oh, that was terrible timing. Oh, no, 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 I thought I had it. Okay. Okay, that's definitely not worth it. Ah, screw it. We need to get rid of one. Damn it. You agree there's way too little information about Maria as a character? Who was seduced by Koss? It's weird Koss is a great one that got prego instead of pregoing some random mortal broad. Well, she was female. Just committed Sudoku to make up for it, because she's just that good a girl, kinda. That's painful. We were at the finish line, too. Oh, I did skip this area. Okay. Bro, welcome into the stream. You came in at a good time to see me get clapped for being greedy. So yeah, the one bad thing about the chalices like this is the scaling just kind of ramps up on this one a lot. So maybe I'm supposed to actually go to the Hintertombs next, or like in this instead of this one. It's got to be below me then. Yep. We'll leave that dude over there. That doesn't seem suspicious at all. It's too short. Oh! You got me. Could always use more bullets. Need more vials at this point, especially if we got that low just from the Watchers. Feels bad, man. Hey. You're supposed to go to the Depth 4 Chalices in New Game Plus cycle? Really? It just means we gotta get good then. Oh, the dude behind him is gonna get me, isn't he? Oh, yeah. Just need to kite him away. Okay. Oh, too early. I should have... Oh, no, 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 no. I was gonna say I should have died from that. That's too cocky. Way too early on the first one. I wonder if the great ones... Oh, yeah, I should pay attention. I didn't know if that move was going to track. Now I'm starting to get nervous, which makes the game more difficult than when you just YOLO everything. Okay. You wonder if the Great Ones ever tried breeding with each other? You mean Ram has her happy family? She seems like a fertile, nubile waifu material? Oof. Those are your words. Not exactly how I'd describe her. Nubile. I think the strategy guide says to go to at least the first Hintertomb first. Hey, yeah, that makes sense. I just forgot that we had it. I'm surprised the second one didn't aggro. Alright. I think there's a Tumerian Knight dude down there. No, not this Chalice. Okay. It says all great ones lose their children? Yeah. A reminder that it seems like the whole Immaculate Conception thing seems to be more in Odin's wheelhouse. Nothing saying other great ones don't have their own children directly. So it says all great ones lose their children. Oh crap. This dude with his gut sword. What do you think this is? Dark Souls 3? Oh, so I just timed it better the first time? I thought, as long as you got him in that animation. Oof. I'm not judging how much damage I'm doing super well, because they keep like living with the tiniest slivers of HP. Alright, Ritual Blood 3. I might go back to the dream and buy blood vials or whatnot beforehand, because I'm getting clapped. Alright, have that one. People into all kinds of stuff. You love that waifu argument for Ram? Okay, was there anything down there? I don't remember coming through here. Hey, we found it. More like a giant slab of iron rather than a sword. Pretty much. Hey, a messenger bath. It looks like we don't need to come to the dream. Oh, yeah. Forgot about this one. We don't have a lot of badges, which is why the bath looks so damn empty. Damn it. Did not mean to do that. Look at the little blood vial. And the little greedy hands. Holy crap, it's super expensive down here. Oh, we can buy the root chalices, which are kind of the sinister ones, which are kind of useless for us right now. The old labyrinth was carved out by the Tumerians, superhuman beings that are said to have unlocked the wisdom of the Eldritch Truth. NB, so that got changed later on to just say like online or like note or something like that. Additional right, sinister bell is for online use only. The bell ringing woman does not appear offline. The bell ringing woman appears to be a mad Tumerian. Okay. I'm probably not going to buy it, but just showing that off is good enough. Alright, so I don't remember if there's anything over here. I'm just going to check it out. Oh yeah, that's the first floor. That makes sense. Oh! That's why I love the rally mechanic. The poor sound design in 1.0. Hey, Ritual Blood 4. That's dope. More do. It'll be fast either way. Okay. NB equals Nico Bellic. You think the writhing, formless Udin would make a good partner? Hell no. Udin be keeping shorties on the side and formless hips aren't ideal for making babies. Alright, let's go to the dream. Buy some stuff. And then get clapped by the Watchers again. Ludwig's the best wife. I wonder if it's the same price here. It's cool that one was holding a blue elixir and I totally can't buy them now. Yeah, I definitely can't. Okay, so yeah, the chalices are like 3 times what I can afford right now. Okay, let's go back. Alright, I'll give it one attempt on the Watchers tonight, and then tomorrow we'll probably just pick it up from the Hintertomb chalices. Fake Iosefka is unironically bae. She has ambition. Just be careful what she does to you in your sleep. Where is the little room? Okay. Let's blunt the rest. That's probably where's the blood defense? The Knight's Gloves. I think we're okay, I guess. I just hate getting shot by those damn things so much. Alright, we'll just go with this. Loading screens are wild in this old lore. Oh. I got distracted by my damn echoes. You liked original Iosefka? I didn't think that was gonna hit, so I'll take it. Too slow. Almost got caught on the wall, kinda did. Sweet. No expansions, right? Yeah, this is patch 1. Oh, the counterattack. Should have expected that. Too slow. Oh, that was bad. Thought I was way too slow on that. I'll take it. Hesitated. We all know that meme. Okay. You only knew about the Witch of Hemwick, but you can't trust the Hemwick spinsters. Damn it. I'm distracted by the other ones. Okay, so he pulled out his mace. Okay, this should be more manageable now. Should be, but we saw what happened last time. Huh. Just kite one away, hopefully. I thought I was gonna miss it and get clapped. Close. Oh, no. So slow. Thank you, Phobos. Oh, no. Come on. No. Don't go in. There's a trap. Oh, no. Thanks. Poor dodge angle. This is so slow. Hey, we got one. Oh, damn it. No, we didn't. Not worth. Actually, it might be worth. Attack! Oh, this is the one I want to kill anyway. That was risky. Oh, that's not the one I want to attack. Alright, so the one without the lantern, and I need to stop screwing up so much. Sweet. Okay. Now we can just do normal mono-e-mono combat. How'd that clip me? Oh god. Why am I choking so bad? More of them to love. You guys are going crazy in the chat right now, holy crap. Screw that. Hey, tampering, damp, gem, blood gem, tier 4. Okay. So that was way more painful than it needed to be, and not worth the echoes at this point in the game. Too much Eldritch Power? Activated Chieftain's final form, the form where he just force chokes me. Thanks for the GGs. The late night delirium getting at the chat, huh? Alright, just opening that door, and then we're gonna piece out of here. Maybe level up and then spend the rest. Maybe I should just spend it all on the damn vials at this point. Yeah, probably smarter thing to do, actually. That level 2 looks weird. Biggest enemy is chat. Biggest enemy is myself.
Welcome. What is it you did?
Okay, we're okay. So next one we'll do the Hinter Tombs. I'll do it for this one. Probably need to use more echoes. 1800. Do we have enough? Of the ritual materials, I mean. Okay, we definitely have enough eyes. Okay. Oh, okay. Chat has no frenzy resistance, apparently. Oh yeah, so this is a... I guess I should have paid attention. So if we look at the left portion of the icon, it has like a little 2. So that shows its depth. And lower Tumeru is 3, where essential is just 2. So I guess the Hintertomb really isn't going to give me too much, but at least there's a cool enemy at the end of it. And a lot of poison. Maybe we'll get lucky with the blood gems. Probably not. It's really not too bad of a gem for this early in the game. Too bad I'm not like an actual physical build. 54 versus whatever we had. 59. Oh yes, still not even good enough. Alright, so that'll pretty much be it for tonight then. A little bit low-key doing all of the Chalice dungeons, but there will be some pretty cool lore at the end of it all, and eventually we'll be able to make the arcane rifle spear build work. It's 806 where you live. Get Molotovs, they're free fire damage. We do have a few of them, but yeah, not a ton. And the oil urns would probably help too. Okay. Doll's a keeper. Eastern Standard Time, gang. Yeah, we'll get the Madman sent there. Isn't it kind of messed up to kill a Brightus after you commune with her? A little bit, but that's we do a lot of messed up things on these lore throughs. So everybody who's dropped in the chat has been lurking, all that fun stuff, watching these streams after the fact, I appreciate it. Hopefully we'll catch you on the next one. It'll start again tomorrow, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we'll continue like the Chalice explorations probably for the next few streams, maybe. Maybe I'll eventually go back to like the Shadows of Yharnam or the Nightmare Frontier. Actually, I should probably go to the Nightmare Frontier. That probably wouldn't be too bad a spot. I could also just go to Cainhurst and get the chunks and level up my weapon that way. We'll figure it out. So yeah, thank you all again, and see you next time. Take care.